Hey, welcome everyone back to Snozcast episode 2. I think we've kind of settled on Snozcast.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw, but the first episode went up today.
Of course I saw. I watch all of the stuff we put out.
Yeah, I'm sure you watched all hour and a half of the thing that we had already gone over.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, I
was at work doing the thing that pays me. This is my hobby and my passion.
Okay, to be fair, I was also at work. I just was on my laptop when
at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't do that.
I Chromecasted in. I was like, I'm gonna make sure the audio is maxed out here.
Are you aware of what I do at work all day? Because I'm not on my computer.
Yeah,
I play
exactly.
Clash. I play Clash on my phone all day.
Exactly.
I can't have a laptop, but I can have this.
Yeah. So I put it up last night, and then when I got back this morning,
Also,
it was finished
look
uploading.
at my donation number.
Is that like when is that? Does that reset at any point or
Every
no?
chest.
Every chest.
I'm the second highest in the clan.
Also, to be fair, similarly to shit, I don't remember what else, but like you can the fact that you can donate 6 or 8 in this case, right? Yeah, your numbers can rack up really high if you're not donating just one rare at a time.
I'm donating.
But
all
speaking
the time.
of, so let's just start off on a casual topic.
Sure.
What do you think about the Mega Knight in Clash Royale?
I think it's interesting. I think it's...
Does any other card deal damage when it spawns?
Yeah.
Like what?
Electro Wizard.
He drops in, deals damage?
Electric Shock when he drops in.
Cool. It's legendary. I don't have it, so I don't know that. But
I don't have one either.
That's
I just
fair.
hate
That's
when
fair.
I see them
You've
drop
also,
on me.
That's fair. You played more than I have, but that's fair.
So
is that the only other one?
To my knowledge, I believe that's the only other card that when spawns deals damage. And yeah, that would be the only other one. Yeah, that's it.
Alright.
So those two, both cards being legendary. I think it's a good mechanic to keep as a legendary thing, because
Yeah, I feel like it's because it's AoE.
it's spot damage as well. It's almost a spell on top
The
of
Mega
creature.
Knight?
No. I'm saying the spot damage from when the card spawns, like the minion spawns,
yeah.
is almost as if it's a spell for spot damage, and then you get the creature afterward.
Mm-hmm.
The 7-drop though, I think, is what the Mega Knight is.
Well, if you look at the, I before I played, I compared the health total. I googled
To P.E.K.K.A.
how much health does it have compared to not a P.E.K.K.A. just in general how much health it has similarly to a Lava Hound. About 3K, I think. Maybe
3,300. 3,300 level.
Yeah, so basically almost exactly, if not slightly more, I think, than a Lava Hound. Which makes it pretty good as a tank. But it's an AoE dealing tank that drops and deals damage.
But that's what I don't like about it. I think it's too much.
Yeah, too powerful.
Well, it can be stopped easily, yes. But to any, as we've
Tower,
said...
but like Skelly Army does not kill it.
Oh, no,
basically.
because it jumps and destroys the Skelly Army.
Exactly. So you need
there's
like a...
2 answers to it. Well, 2 or 3. Being Inferno Dragon,
Yep.
Inferno Tower,
Yep.
or a Rocket, which deals a shit ton of damage to it.
It deals like 1k though, which is still a shit ton of damage, but that's only
What
a
I'm
third.
saying-
It's only 1/3
Yes.
for 6. You know.
True.
7-drop for 7-drop creature that only takes 1/3 damage.
Is it only 1,000 damage? I never use the Rocket
think.
anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
yours is leveled up, right?
No, mine's 6. I don't use it.
Yeah.
At tournament
But
level,
that's my
which is
point.
7.
So level 6 deals only 1,200
100
damage.
damage.
You know.
So I guess
I feel
that's
like
fair.
yeah. I think
Then
it's gonna be
Sparky would
pretty
be the
powerful.
3rd, which if is properly set behind the tower, it will
Yeah,
then
that's fair.
proc it. I mean, there's only really 2 big answers to it, unless you've got to note. I'm sure you noticed while playing, the AoE damage only occurs on spawn and when it jumps. If you drop your minions right next to it, it does not deal AoE damage. It's single target damage.
Ooh. Okay. So
if you drop your Skelly Army
that sounds a
directly
little
on
more
top of it,
balanced.
it deals single target damage. The
That's a little
AoE
more
comes from the
balanced.
jump and the landing of the Mega Knight.
Okay. That
So,
sounds more balanced for sure.
True, but I also watched a replay of a guy in our clan who had a Mega Knight jump like 6 times in a row and just decimated.
Yeah.
Just completely decimated the entire guy's like mana in hand and double
when
elixir.
I was playing
which is fucking retarded.
When I was playing the challenge, I only got 3 wins. One of them was a legitimate I just lost. The other 2 was like down to the wire. I lost by literally 40 HP on one, either the main tower or a secondary tower. You know, so it was pretty close.
I also had
really
3
enjoyed
wins.
it.
I also had 3 wins. One of those wins I did not deserve. The guy literally just spammed thanks and didn't play anything. So,
to be fair, they kind of blur together, obviously. I think
that one kind of stood out.
I think, well, I mean, games in general.
Yeah.
Because I also had a game like that. I just can't say for certain if it was part of the challenge or if it was just a regular game I was playing.
No. This is part of the challenge. Dude just spammed thanks, and I'm like, cool. You're giving up.
Do you mute people, or do you...
Oh no, I always have the chat on because I spam the happy face. Spam that happy face on my golem pushes in their mega tower.
I totally feel like the animations in Clash Royale
are
specifically meant to trigger people.
It's 100% true.
So good.
The trigger factor is 100%, which makes me love the game even more. Because when you know your Golem and Night Witch combo with the Graveyard are pushing to win the game, and they can't stop it, and you just spam that tower, and occasionally you'll like, your opponent has left. I'm like, damn right they fucking did. Or
it tells you in the DC?
Sorry, it's your teammate when the 2v2s.
Oh.
Like it'll tell your teammate left. And, like sometimes like
you're still winning.
And you're still winning, and like you still get the crowns and the rewards from winning, even if you leave the game prior to winning. So you're just like, well, this is over. I'll just quit out and do something else. I'm like, on occasion it will happen.
That's
like,
great.
I fucking knew I did it.
All right, so I was at work last night, and this isn't a big deal, but
Sure.
it's just kind of funny, at least to me. Hopefully, it translates well into podcasts and such. But I was at work, and while training, talking to people, I've gotten pretty good at it. I say I'm better than most. I don't want to, maybe my coworkers will watch this.
People fucking suck, man. I hate talking to them.
Exactly. Well, I don't want to say that I'm necessarily better than all of my coworkers, but
he's just said it. If you're watching it, verbatim.
But I do feel like what I was told about the position of some of the minor number entering and such that can be very boring. I feel like I make far fewer mistakes than most people do. Which just maybe it's because they've been there longer and they've got more of a rhythm, whereas I haven't been there as long, so I'm kind of paying more attention to what I enter. But it does seem like I tend to enter in more accurately the flight logs and such. But the point being, we had a flight last night that diverted from Anchorage to Sitka, Alaska, to pick up some passengers. I'm like, yeah, that's fine, cool, whatever. So they called me because they always call you when they have an activation, or you call them when a flight's leaving. And basically, the pilots call you and say, here's what's happening, and then you call them airlift and
or
say,
whatever.
Here's what's no, it's specifically airlift, but yeah, and say this plane. You just relay the same information. The pilot says we're leaving or we landed, and
You're the middleman.
Here's our time, and then we relay the information. So I called airlift, and they said, let me call you back. Hung up. They're like, cool. They called back and was like, so we're sending another plane, blah 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 blah. I'll let you know more information. I was like, cool, it's fine. Hang up. So he calls back again and goes, so Jaden, are you still training? Because I have a high level question. I was like, all right. So I went over and grabbed Cheyenne, who was in the lunchroom, just right across the hallway from us, basically. I was like, hey, can you come in? They had to say I have a level question. He goes, no disrespect to the guy, I won't say his name or anything, just on the random chance that somebody finds him,
when
right?
we blow up and this video goes,
But he was like, so we're sending out a second plane. Do you want us to send out a second activation? I was like,
that's a high level question.
Yeah. Sorry, I gotta spat your direction. I
That's
was like,
alright.
I was like, duh! If you send out a second plane, we need a second activation for that plane. I felt like that was pretty straightforward.
That's high level question, Jake.
Yeah, right. Cheyenne told me the same thing, but I was like, that seems so obvious. Because we get an activation per plane. So just because you're sending a plane to intercept another one, not in the air or anything, it's like this one diverted to Sitka to pick up passengers. But instead of picking up passengers, we sent out a different plane to pick them up, and then the original plane just went home. Yeah. Do you want a second activation? Duh. We need to keep track of it. Of course, we need a second activation. In hindsight, it's really easy to say duh. At the moment, I was like, well, I'll grab Cheyenne, who's been there longer than me. But when I hung up, I was like, I could have easily answered that on my own. But otherwise, the night shifts are pretty fun, I gotta say. I have a lot of topics here.
Go for it. I know virtually none of what he's about to say, so my knowledge. To be fair,
they're not necessarily several different topics. They're kind of like single topics that, if it gets too hot, we can open those back up.
Yeah. But also, most important question: where are my headphones?
They're right here. I've had them here.
I know, but I finally got my
on the
headphones.
stream. The G93. There we go.
There it is.
Artemis Spectrum, which is, of course, if we open them up here.
He gets to unbox my shit because
Well,
he doesn't.
yes, but it's not really unboxing. It's pair number 2 because I already own a pair.
I'm copying him. All right,
Yeah.
They're really comfortable. I like them.
They
so.
are, and you know why? Can you say why? Just guess.
Okay.
What's your
I'm trying to
thought
articulate
process?
the correct words. They're lightweight as well, and
think-
they don't put a lot of pressure on your head. Like,
All true, but I think there's one defining, really simple answer, personally.
they're just so comfortable.
Even on backwards, but that's fine.
Oh, they were? I couldn't tell.
So the buttons on the left side of your
Oh
head.
yeah, on the back.
They're on the back.
Yeah.
So
And then
It's
there's the
microphone,
mic.
yeah.
Yes.
So it really comes down to the fact that they're oval. They're not circular. That's all it comes down to me.
Oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
also noticing how much more space my
Yeah.
ears had in
So,
instead headphones.
Any normal human being
Oh.
can recognize that your ear is not circular. Some people have smaller ears and circular headphones work fine. But I bought these ones. I had the Razer Krakens.
I'm using the Razer Krakens currently.
Yeah, he's using my Razer Krakens.
Yeah, I have headphones.
So-
They're just not as high quality as those.
Yeah,
so-
exactly. And that was the thing. It was like they pinched my ears. I was watching the LPL today.
You know how many like streams we went through of 12 hours and I was wearing the Krakens the entire
and they
time?
hurt eventually.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
God, this is gonna be so nice.
So I was watching Uzi. He bought a new pair of glasses, the ADC for I think RNG. He bought a new pair of glasses.
Oh, we
and
need to get gunners
apparently-
because we're those kind of people.
Well, I have gunners. They're just not the yellow. You've seen them, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen those.
They're just not. First of all, they broke. Kind of.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
frames cracked. So they
We should
kinda
get the yellow
together.
gunners and just stream
Yeah,
all day.
I mean, it's true. To be fair, the answer to me is not the gunners. It's the Flux app. F.Lux, if you don't have it, turns your blue light sensitivity, not your blue light sensitivity, the blue light output on your monitor down, so it's not as harsh on your eyes. I would highly recommend it, especially if you're a late night gamer. That
Which,
was
let's
basically
be
the
honest,
solution
if you're a
for me.
gamer, who are you not a late night gamer?
I'm
Because
not. I mean, I've said
On
it before.
occasion.
I've said it before. Doesn't matter how late I stay up. I will wake up by 9, essentially. Unless,
9, that's late. I'm up by 8 o'clock if I get home at 4 in the morning.
which is fair, but that's my point. I like my sleep. So
I do.
that's the difference.
Like,
It's
I like my
I'd rather
sleep.
go to bed early, get 7 to 8 hours, and get up at 7:38 and have the morning to myself before everybody gets online.
Fair.
Part of it's kind of a social thing because when I get up, it's like it's fun. I have no problems. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't like hanging out with you or Charlie or anybody I play with. But when I wake up at 7, no one's awake yet. And then like an
Well,
hour and a half.
I'm awake,
Okay,
I'm just
yeah,
still
yeah,
in bed.
exactly. So awake might not be the right term.
But nobody's online.
Online in gaming, no one's online yet. So I can get online and I can play whatever. And then a couple hours later, people are like, "Hey, you on?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's play."
Of course I'm
You
online.
know what I mean? Because the problem, I love playing single player games, but at least 75% of the time, someone is online, and that someone is available to play PUBG or League or whatever else we're playing. you know?
And on the topic of PUBG, if you're not gonna
Yeah,
play
which
PUBG,
is not a criticism in any way. It's just like I like.
it speaks to the game because it's so good.
No, not PUBG. I just mean in general.
Oh,
like
okay,
I
okay.
like the
Big butt.
I'm always, I like big bucks. I'm always open to playing PUBG in any multiplayer game. It just so happens I also like single player games, and the best time to play single player games is when no one else is available to play multiplayer games. You know.
So
it
I
kinda
don't. It
that's
has
what
not been
comes down to me.
announced yet, but Bloodborne 2. I mean, I'm assuming there'll be a Bloodborne 2. There will be
There-
another Souls game.
Yes.
Not Dark Souls, but there will be another Souls game from
Yes.
Software.
I've heard rumors of Bloodborne 2.
Don't
That's the
just
best I can
don't
give you.
tease me right now. Not
I'd
the
have to
mood.
look it up to find exactly the right information, but I've definitely heard teasers here and there that would say Bloodborne 2 is, or at least like another Souls style.
sure,
but
sure.
The distinction is that Bloodborne is Sony exclusive
Mhm.
because that was the deal.
Mhm.
So it might not be Bloodborne 2, but I'm pretty sure there is at least another From Software Sony exclusive coming, which will be along the same lines. So
I want to announce now, if there is a Bloodborne 2, I will be taking a week off of work, because that'll take
I
probably,
agree.
and I will be streaming it the entirety of my consciousness. I will probably sleep for 2 or 3 hours per night, but then I'll be right back awake the next day to continue playing said game.
So apparently I didn't write it down, but I wanted to so that's a great topic because I want to transition from that There's an article. I want to get your opinion on this. This article shows there's no real trailer as far as I know yet. We can, we'll look it up at some point, but during this podcast, we don't
need
know
some
yet.
Tetra person to be our bitch to look shit up for us.
I mean,
put it on the
with the
stream.
laptop, I can Google it myself.
Yeah, but I want a Tetra.
So here, there is a third-person shooter coming out. Not Code Vein, obviously, which we already showed.
Yeah, not really a shooter either.
Yeah, exactly. But
Sure,
it's Dark Souls inspired, right?
Sure, yeah.
There's a third-person shooter that's Souls inspired, verbatim, from the article. Now, I don't know how this is going to work, but the developers pointed out that we're going to make a game that, like Dark Souls, once you've learned the patterns, your ability to get shots off and to beat bosses will translate into a very similar feeling of I finally beat that boss. Like, I overcame the challenge as opposed to the game handed me a victory. Which is mostly what the Souls games are known for, right? It's like,
I'm just trying to understand how that works.
Exactly. I read
if
the
it's
article.
a good third-person shooter, like, to me, a good shooter is realistic. I'm not talking Halo pumping in a whole magazine of an AR into somebody, and their overshield just goes down.
Personally, realistic has nothing to do with it.
I like
about
the realism.
mechanics. You know what I mean? Gears of War is not realistic, but I loved Gears of War. Gears of War had other than the netcode, which was laggy as fuck.
I was about to say.
Gears of War was a great game. It was a great series, personally. The multiplayer
I only
was
played
fun.
up until I played through the second one, and then I stopped.
I don't even remember. They kind of blur together. But that's not really a diss. That's just because I played them years ago on Xbox 360, not even Xbox One. You know what I mean?
Or the Xbox One X.
Exactly. So, I thought they were great games. The netcode had its problems, but when you had a good connection multiplayer game, shit was great. Like, it really came down to your ability to outplay your opponent, whether it be by your what was it, Expo? I think it was Expo headshots. Your sniper
Expo,
headshot, your
you're
long
thinking,
shot head.
Clash.
Yes. Do you know what the name of it is? Whatever. There's
the crossbow that.
It's not a crossbow, but yeah, it's a recurve bow. It's the
yeah.
explosive recurve bow. That was ridiculously fun when you could hit somebody with it. The sniper was ridiculously fun.
God, you headshot somebody?
Yeah,
also,
shotguns.
One thing I did love about Gears that I don't see in the other games is that timed reload animation, if you timed that correctly,
active reload, all of the difference.
Yeah, if you weren't good at that, you were shit at the game.
Like,
that active reload allowed you to just pump out so much more damage.
R1,
yeah,
so good.
And I've never seen that in another game, and that is a mechanic that really changed the game.
Can you imagine if the Gunslinger and Lawbreakers had that kind of mechanic? Dude, it would be broken.
As fuck.
To be fair,
his reload times are really long.
Yeah,
but if
you'd have to translate that into every character, or at least a majority of
characters. Well, that
characters.
could be also, his unique thing, the Gunslinger that...
Fair, I'm just talking balancing wise. Active reload was a thing that happened across the board in Gears, so it kind of have to be the same thing. Personally, just
Sure, I
understand
what you're saying.
But yeah, I agree. That was clearly like a defining feature of Gears. I think that's another reason why the Gears 4, I think. There was a recent Gears that came out on the modern console. I don't know if it was Gears 4 or if it was Gears whatever, but it was a new Gears of War game. And I think that's why it sold really well. People remembered Gears of War had a lot of unique features and a lot of really interesting characters. Coltrane, Marcus Phoenix, Adam Baird. They're really cool characters.
Yeah.
Period. The games were great. I remember distinctly not only playing through the games, but my dad would play through them with me because it's one of the few games that allowed split screen co-op. That was also a huge feature that we just simply do not see enough of anymore. Period, in my opinion. Because it's really fun to play online with your friends. But I don't want you to bring your computer over here every single day. It'd be really nice if we could, like Destiny 2, I hope, I don't know, I haven't bothered looking it up. We'll know when it comes out. But if it's split screen, that'll be a huge deal. Especially if you can recover your account and play on your account on someone else's console or computer. Like, I really expect you, me, Charlie, and like Devin and Matt to play through Destiny 2 because I think it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be first of all,
I never played Destiny.
That's fair.
I'm admitting it now.
I've never beaten Destiny.
I didn't know you could beat it. I thought it was like one of those games.
Well, it has a storyline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it has a storyline.
I just thought it was an ongoing game, like.
It is.
Like
when
you
it
just
first
constantly
came out,
grind raids.
Yeah, when it first came out, the story was pretty bad, but they came out with Destiny. I don't even. There's
Sure.
House of Wolves. That's the one I remember.
All the
There was a specific expansion that came out that really just redid the entire storyline, and that was really good. I haven't finished it, but it's still really good. So
on that topic, the only Destiny I ever watched was actually Achievement Hunter playing Destiny, and it was. I always remember Gavin just being absolutely.
Yeah, and Jeff.
Jeff was even worse.
Jeff
and
was
just
so bad.
And it was just basically, oh my god, it was just great to watch them fail and know that if I played this, I'd probably be better in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, agreed. So on that note, Destiny is a great game. Don't get me wrong, but it's something that I think is inarguably dramatically better when you have a squad to play with. So because Destiny 2 is coming to PC, I think our squad will have a lot of fun with it. You know, it's going to be basically like a Halo version of Borderlands. You know what I mean?
And I was about to bring up. I was about to bring up.
Weapons.
I'm waiting for the next Borderlands, and I'm just kind of.
It'll have a ton of weapon varieties, class specialization, so on and so forth. I think it'll be really good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that to come out. Talking about. So just real quick, I kind of want to bring it slightly back, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Dark Souls third-person shooter.
Yeah, I know.
Just right now, just for fun, predict: is it going to succeed or is it going to fail? I don't know who's developing it.
I haven't read the
anything.
article.
No, that's fine. That's fine. The article only says it's a Dark Souls inspired.
And there's no
third-person
trailer,
shooter.
no pictures.
Well, I mean, there might be a picture that looks kind of dark and creepy, cool, but I have 1% more information than you. That's about it because I've read the article.
Well, as far as a third-person shooter Dark Souls type game,
so just to finalize, third-person shooter that is focusing around
rhythm and patterns.
They didn't explicitly say that. I would expect so, but they explicitly...
I mean, Dark Souls.
Yeah, they explicitly stated it's the feeling of accomplishment. Because that's what Bloodborne and Dark Souls focuses on. Yes, it's about the rhythm, but you can simply beat down your opponent.
Bloodborne and Dark Souls is not about the accomplishment. It's about the constant beatdown and grind of getting your ass kicked.
Well, yeah, but then when you win, it's your victory.
I'm just glad I didn't lose again.
Did you ever?
That's all it is. I'm just glad I don't have to do that whole fucking grind again.
Did you ever beat?
I watched the full play of Dark Souls 3.
Call of Duty 4, the final mission.
Yes.
On the plane.
Yes.
Did you beat it on Veteran?
No.
I did. I watched guides for it.
Okay.
I won't
not.
say that I just beat it, but I watched it on Veteran, and it was very calculated. Like flashbang, this angle,
this time.
You know what I mean? And I beat. I was like, fuck
hey,
yes.
I did, however, hold a world record in Call of Duty Black Ops.
Oh really?
Yeah.
All
for
right.
a very short period of time, I believe. But it was one of the missions, like the Black Ops missions, like the side missions that you like. You remember those? Just like the side missions.
Kinda.
They're like the time side missions in Black Ops 1, and it was the breach and clear.
Black Ops 1, yes.
So it was the breach and clear.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so
those were great.
I held the world record by like 0.01 seconds because I didn't kill anyone. All I did is flashbang as I broke through. And I learned that if you switch weapons as breaking through, it stopped your slowdown animation.
Oh, you could run?
Yeah, so you could run as you're breaking through instead of that stun as you're going through the wall. You just switch weapons really quick.
Just so you know, if a lot of people see this, they're gonna fact check that.
Go for it, bud. Go for it. I don't give a shit. I'm happy to get the clout.
Yeah.
And I just double tap through, flashbanged the second room so I didn't get instantly blown up by the mass of people in there.
Yeah.
This was also on like the highest difficulty setting because that's what you had to do. And then you just have to stop, pause from the sprint right before the second set of lockers so your sprint meter can catch back up.
Yep.
And then
I'm
you can
visualizing. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So your sprint meter can catch right back up just enough so you can sprint and then jump and not catch the back ledge as you jump into the hole. I timed this. I did it so well. I literally grinded for days and days just to get 0.02 seconds off my time so I could get ahead. And it was satisfying.
I never held the first place record, but I held some kind of record that I validated once. So I don't know what place I was in. I don't know how quickly it was beaten.
Yeah.
But I held a record in Battlefield 3 for like longest sniper shot at some point because
that's awesome.
There was a guy, I don't remember the map because it's been a while since I played Battlefield 3, but for those of you that might recognize, there's a map with a water tower and it was playing Rush. So as Rush goes, the spots on defense back up further and further.
The spawn, move
So
up.
I saw a flash from the tiny fucking window in this water tower, and I was like, whatever. I just aimed way up, fired. It arced in like a full second and a half. 2 seconds later, it was like headshot. 100 points kill, 50 points headshot, 2,700 something. That might not be entirely correct, but it was like, it was at least a couple thousand points for the range distance. I was like, fuck, that's great.
If only you could have recorded that.
I'm done. Yeah,
I don't ever want to play.
Right? I know. The recording back in the day, I really feel like
if you had a capture card, which very few people did.
I feel like a lot of people, including us, who are small YouTubers, exceptionally small YouTubers. If you're talking about reality,
we put videos on YouTube. That is the that is what we do.
I really feel like there's a lot of people who probably really regret the fact that, or maybe not even regret. Like I don't regret.
I guess.
Not sure.
Because
well, it's a range. Some people regret. Some people resent. I don't do either. I just simply recognize that I played a lot of games as a kid. If I knew how it all worked and I had a capture card and I had been doing it when I was in middle school and high school, we'd be so far ahead of the curve.
Right.
But that's hindsight. It's whatever.
There's one specific moment in my gaming career that isn't even like that impressive. It just was so well timed with the song I was playing and my friend that was with me. Game Bulletstorm.
Was it Silver Scrapes?
No, I don't think Silver Scrapes out of the time, but it would amazing.
Bulletstorm was a great highlight. Version.
So Bulletstorm, great game. Don't know if you guys played it. If you haven't, it's I wouldn't say old, but I mean it's definitely
Plus
older.
Plus, there's a remaster that just came out. So.
Okay, Bulletstorm, great game.
Not worth it. Buy the original.
Yeah, the original is still.
The remaster is basically a cash grab.
Yeah,
to be
but
fair.
I mean, you could actually. There's one boss specifically that after you fought through like this mini town, it's like a mecha like robot like boss.
Kind of know what you're talking about.
So one weird boss or whatever. And you could actually slide, like you could slide well in the game. You could just perma-slide and slide the entirety of the map because it was all slightly slanted inward. So it's kind of like a cone leaning slightly down. So you could literally just slide around the boss the entirety of the fucking fight and never stop.
If I played it, I'm sure I'd know what you're talking about, but right now I can't think of...
So that's one thing I remember about the bosses. Just there's this one fight where you could just literally just...
I try to tell everyone, man. Video games are unequivocally the best form of entertainment.
Hands down. Never will argue that point.
And now I will say, I understand that to you and I, controllers, mouse and keyboard, it's second nature. It's instinctive.
I grew up with it. I grew up playing
and I recognize
constantly.
that a lot of people can't, and at least initially, like Rocky No Hands is a great inspiration for that because he learned how to play from scratch with a quadriplegic with a controller that he controls only with his head and his mouth. Props to him first of all, of course, but I recognize that actually translates to people who just simply don't play games. Like shooting with the mouse and keyboard is so obvious and so simple, but I understand how other people just can't quite get it as easy as it is, which is fair. But walking simulators, man. Even walking simulators, video games tell, I think, the best story. Books are great, and I think they're the second best personally because you can. That's just me. I like reading. You can really get into detail about a story, like Game of Thrones, right? The current season of Game of Thrones is really rushing things ahead. It's not spoilers or anything, but it's really rushing things to make sure that they can fit them in the time frame.
Before George R. R. Martin dies.
And there's a game theory video about how it actually works because in reality, like if you assume that everybody's normal size, the time frames don't match up. But there's watch the new game theory. I'm sure you've all seen it before you watch this podcast, but you know what I mean. But reading is great because it allows you to really go into detail about characters and backstories and all sorts of stuff. But video games strike a very fine medium between too long and too short. There are great movies, but most movies are too short to really expand upon the details and the character development. And TV shows are kind of the in-between, but even still, I feel like most TV shows, not all, but most TV shows
drag out way too long or cut off way too early.
Yeah, but I would say even on a broader level, they just simply don't really focus on the character development. That's why I like anime. Because which I won't go into because we did
already
it last
talked
week.
about that,
and I'm sure we'll get to it at some point in this
Hentai.
podcast.
Had to bring it up.
I know, right? Just so I can put it in the YouTube tags. Anybody searching hentai on YouTube will find our podcast.
Also, why are you searching hentai on YouTube? There's so many better places. I don't know. Don't ask me.
I feel like video games strike a very fine line where, first of all, you're controlling the character, so that makes a big deal. Like Dark Souls. Well,
we'll also talk about Dark Souls literally every day of our lives.
The very fine medium of like an 8-hour minimum campaign up to 100 plus. Like Persona 5, hands down one of my top 10 favorite games of all time. Haven't finished it yet. Still one of my favorite games of all time. It's the soundtrack is so good. The characters so good. The story is so good.
No, soundtrack is so good.
So good. I just haven't finished it. And the reason why is I don't feel guilty about it. It's like it says take your time. It's like when I feel like playing Persona, I play Persona, and I fucking love it. I'll play for hours on end, just working out the relationship with my characters and doing the battles. The one thing that tends to drag out is sometimes the combat sections. I'm like, I wish I could just kind of skip through this and get through the story portions, but it's not the end of the world. And if I really wanted to, I could turn down the difficulty and kind of skip through them much faster.
That's not fun. Turning down difficulty?
I disagree only in the sense that I used to play like Doom. Doom 2016. That was the last game that I played on second hardest difficulty. And the reason why is simply like I play multiplayer games. You know what's harder than any game on hard difficulty? Any fucking multiplayer game. So when I play a story-based game, I'd rather just play the story. And therefore play on normal. So it's not spoon-fed to me, but it's not painfully hard. So I'd rather get the story experience from it. Like Prey, I'm just playing on normal. It's a lot of fun, but I'm not like micromanaging my health and my resources and all that shit. So it's like, yeah, I'm playing through the game because I want to hear the story behind it. So I think basically video games unequivocally best form of entertainment because it allows you A, to control the flow, and B, you're given a little bit of extra time to kind of expand the story in the way you want to. So in the comparison there, Dark Souls versus The Witcher, which we've talked about before. I don't know if we haven't obviously talked about it on the podcast because it was just the first episode. You know, Witcher was a great game. I just couldn't get behind the combat.
Gwent was better.
Yeah, Gwent was better. I just couldn't get behind the combat. It was really repetitive. But the storyline, oh my god, the story was so good.
And that's where I kind of fell off. Is the combat just dragged out and was just no fun to me. And
it was like dodge, attack, dodge, which to be fair is very similar to Dark Souls, but every single weapon in The Witcher kind of gave you the same thing. It was attack, dodge, attack, dodge.
Yeah.
Whereas Dark Souls really revolves around the kind of weapon you have, which means to me, The Witcher would have been hands down the best game of all time if you had weapon variety that changed up your combat moveset. If you gave me the option of finding, Blades of Mercy, the long Great Sword of Astora, the Threaded Cane, the Moonlight Greatsword.
Yes.
I mean, I could go on and name most of the weapons in the Soulsbourne series. Can we? But that's where The Witcher fell for me. Is like it's just really repetitive combat followed by fascinating story.
With a great card game thrown in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was better than combat. And I think you mentioned there was a mod.
I mentioned the mod that turned combat encounters into Gwent.
And I would have played the absolute shit out of the game if it was
totally worth.
Every combat encounter is a different game of Gwent with new cards, and you've got me for 3 years straight.
Yep. So
combat would take literally forever, but I'd be so much happier.
So we're not necessarily way off topic. But
sure,
Dark Souls inspired shooter, failure.
Oh yeah, we're back. We're still on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Successful or failure?
I'm gonna give it a 70% failure chance, 30% success rate. Because if it does give you that sense of accomplishment and that Souls feeling of learning the bosses, learning how to your shooting mechanics, learning when you can peek, when you should take cover, assuming you can peek and take cover. But if you're able to learn,
at least the dodge roll style.
Dodge roll style, exactly. If you are able to learn mechanics that allow you to get an advantage or dodge an attack or get into a better position to fight your boss or opponents.
So you're not spoon-fed.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're able to use those mechanics to an advantage and doing the shooter correctly and being able to, getting shot should deal a shit ton of damage to you. If you're able to like just absorb a shit ton of bullets and then just drink a health potion after, which you can get hit by a giant sword in Dark Souls and chug a potion and you'll be fine. But I feel like they have to do the damage balance right, and that's going to be a big thing. Because range...
Damage balance, and then the biggest factor to me is that the difference between Neo, which I really, really, really want to get back into Neo. I just can't stand the game. Everyone praises it as Samurai Dark Souls. I'm just like, this is not Dark Souls. This is so far from... No, it's not really that far, to be fair. It has a lot of similarities, but it's like... And another patch just came out that allows you to just simply, like, your game won't register less than certain rarity items, which is really good, because the problem with the game was that you would just get fucking overflowed with garbage that you didn't need. That's cool. But like in Dark Souls, it's like, if you dealt enough damage, your opponent would stagger. And that would get, like,
I love that.
So if you mistimed, they would just smash you because you fucked up and kept being aggressive. But if you timed it properly, you could get them to stagger before, and then get a chance to get out before they recovered. Neo just doesn't do that. It's like, it's a rhythm-based game like Dark Souls, but unlike Dark Souls, in my opinion, there is zero room for variation. It's like, there is an exact pattern to follow, and that's it. If you fuck it up, you die. Or at the very least, get wrecked, and then, heal and try and do it again. It's like, I explained it in my review of Neo. I didn't finish the game, and I don't feel guilty about that. For example, like the spider boss. In Dark Souls, you have a couple attacks.
He's brought this boss up before in the past, and every time it turns into a heated passion of, this is the worst boss.
I think the boss I beat the spider boss. I haven't beaten the Ice Queen chick or the Ice chick yet, and I really think it comes down to the fact that, like, in Dark Souls, you get bosses that have minor variations on moves depending on their combo, but it's generally predictable. Once you see a combo start, you know it's going to end at point A or point B. Whether or not it's got one extra attack or one extra combo, there is a break point where it will end or it will continue and you can react. Neo, on the other hand, for example, the spider boss, it would do, just a regular old swipe attack. It would do anywhere from 1 to 4, which is a completely unpredictable range of it's 25% chance, obviously, right? Yeah. It's a completely unpredictable range of attacks that I don't know. Can I go in and attack because it was 1? Can I go in and attack because it was 2? Up to 4, right?
If you see the 4th, then you know you're golden.
Hopefully, because sometimes it would just immediately launch another attack right afterwards. You're like, fuck, there's a pattern, quote unquote, but it wasn't... It never really felt like I understood the pattern. Which, to some, might be like, well, yeah, you just didn't focus hard enough. But this is coming from a Souls veteran. Like, this is 1,000 hours of Dark Souls where... Yeah. I understand patterns. If you don't have a pattern, or if your pattern's completely fucking random, it's simply not a pattern at that point. It's random. So that was where I struggled with Neo, and I want to get back into it. It just seems like it was too reliant on the RNG numbers of your damage as opposed to the actual ability to get in and damage, get out and back, get in and damage, and vary your combat. You couldn't cheese anybody either. That was great. Once you figured out how to cheese people in Dark Souls, oh my god, the game became so much more fun. Yeah. Not because of the cheesing factor, just because of the knowledge of it's like, I know how... Cleric Beast, great example. Yes. You know what I mean? Yes. Cleric Beast is really intimidating to any first-time player. But the way to beat it is to literally stand underneath it, which is so counterintuitive to any player who has never played a Souls game before. Yeah. But it becomes a fucking cakewalk once you just stand underneath it and keep attacking it. Yeah. It's nuts.
On that same note of like patterns and learning different patterns from bosses, there's I did not purchase the DLC for Bloodborne, but I played it with you, and the first time.
And anyone else?
Just you.
Oh, I thought you mentioned you may have played it.
I think I watched a Let's Play, but I didn't play it. But the second boss that you couldn't get past at that time, it was the female.
Yeah, you basically showed me how to beat it.
And this is exactly my point. We play games constantly, and we have similar playstyles and different playstyles depending on the game. And I forget the name of that boss.
Lady Maria.
Lady Maria. And your playstyle, she had a huge combo that was huge range, right?
Especially later phase because she gains Second phase, she gains range. Third phase, she gains extended range.
Yeah, so it just was a huge range attacks. And when you were playing, I saw you just trying to dodge way far out so you didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
And when I was playing, I was like, fuck that. I'm going to dodge
Just
at her face.
Literally next to her.
I literally would dodge into and slightly to the side of her, and her attacks would go right by me, giving me attack of opportunity on her.
Yep.
And you pointed out the fact of, holy shit,
And
I never thought of that.
I immediately beat her
Yeah,
right after.
and this is
Which is funny, because you're right. I didn't think of that. But that is a very common theme in the Souls series.
Yes.
Like, it's not like... Lady Maria really makes you rethink the way you fight her, but it's not necessarily
Rethinking the game.
Completely separate way of playing
Exactly.
the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what makes it, again, Vicarmelia.
No,
The
one of the
first
hardest
third, right?
bosses. One of the hardest bosses to fight in the game.
Becomes one of the easiest once you realize fire paper,
Mm-hmm.
beast blood pellet,
Mm-hmm.
and just keep attacking.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
It just it becomes so easy, and that's what makes Bloodborne so great. Because you go from it's the sense of this is so hard to I love this because of how like easy games are just simply not fun.
Mm-hmm.
But when a game goes from painstakingly difficult to really easy, then it's on you. You figured out how to make it easy. And the answer was...
It still has the
fire
difficulty
paper.
factor, but once you understand the mechanics that allow you to
Mhm.
not circumvent,
Same,
but...
I mean, the only exception I would say to that is fucking, Lawrence? I want to... No. Oh, come on, what's his name? The fucking horse dude! Oh, I'm drawing a blank. I can't believe I'm...
Oh!
I'm pretty sure, okay. You know, tell me if I'm wrong here. I'm pretty sure Lawrence is the fire beast in the cathedral. I can't remember the name of the beast, of the horse beast. You know, the first real boss in the Hunters DLC, the old Hunters DLC.
See, I didn't play it, so I couldn't help you there. I mean, I watched Let's Play,
Shit.
but...
That's fair. Bottom line is that is one of the very few bosses that is just God. The second portion of his combat phase can be intimidating because it takes it can, but it's only intimidating because it's really hard to get to. I think the first phase is an exceptionally difficult boss fight. But then the second phase is also difficult because you just got there and you probably have a few healing potions left. You probably have no idea what the combos are. But once you learn the combos of the second phase...
It's easier than the first.
Yes, exactly. But the first phase is still painfully hard. Like, holy crap, it's hard. He's just got so many moves and so much damage and so forth, but... Good lord.
It was very funny as it's kind of a little bit late, but the point of the cleric beast when you just stand under its feet and fight it. I remember there was an amygdala that I fought in Bloodborne.
Yeah.
And I fought it for the very first time when I encountered it, and I was like, "Oh shit, a boss fight!"
The Nightmare Frontier. I
Yeah,
believe.
Nightmare Frontier, and there's I just run into this what looked like an arena type place. I'm like, "Oh cool, what's in here?" Going in there for the very first time, and then boom, amygdala. I'm like, "Shit, a boss fight! Wasn't ready for this." And then I kill it.
Your mistake, because I mean, big arena.
Yeah. Clearly, it was my lack of sleep and
My
playing
favorite
for
part
13
about that,
hours.
just a short interjection. My
Sure.
favorite part, you walk in, if you take out the monocular and then look up,
you see
you
it.
can watch it spawn in and drop, which is really cool.
Okay, cool. But no, walk in like, shit, amygdala, I'm gonna lose this fight, and all the souls I just got from clearing all this shit from the frontier. Killed it. First try. All I did, literally stand at its legs and swipe.
What's funny, what my favorite part about that boss fight, it probably took you a long time.
Oh, fucking forever.
Because
But I didn't
the
die.
arms, which are
Oh, yeah.
white, and the head deal massive amounts of damage. But the easy way to kill it is underneath, where you deal significantly less damage to it.
I didn't die, I lose my
Yeah,
souls. I was cool with it.
So it's a fun trade-off.
Sorry, Blood Echoes. I apologize.
Yeah, right?
Don't flame me. It was a flub. We're talking Soulsbourne.
It's the same thing.
Blood Echoes.
Everybody
I'm so
knows
sorry.
what's going on. And that is unequivocally what makes the Soulsbourne series so fucking good. It does not hand you anything. Everything
Is
you earn
taken.
in that game is earned. It's not taken, it's earn. Well, I mean, you take it obviously.
Yeah, I take their fucking blood.
Yeah, you earn it, and that's what feels so good. And to be fair, you know,
beating that game was probably one of the most satisfying things in a video game I've ever done. Because I'm like,
and that's why I have like, I said I have 1,000 hours in Soulsbourne. Like at least half of that
is Bloodborne.
Is just Bloodborne.
Not saying that Dark Souls isn't great, but Bloodborne is what just made the bread and butter for me.
Yeah, that was the same way.
It's
so
just...
I've told you this story, but I don't think I've never mentioned it on like a podcast or anything. So I got a PlayStation 4. I knew of Dark Souls. I owned Dark Souls. I almost say I hated it, but I didn't love it, and I was too young, too impatient is the best word for it, for sure, to recognize what was going on. Yeah, exactly. I was too impatient to recognize what was going on. I just said, fuck it. So eventually I was like, Bloodborne's really cool, and I got a PS4, I immediately bought Bloodborne, I started playing it, and then I finally made the connection, like, oh, From Software made both games, or both series, really, because Bloodborne's not a series, but Dark Souls is a series, right? Yeah.
Game.
Now, to be fair, Bloodborne was interesting because I've never been not interested in medieval, but I've always been way more interested in things that aren't medieval. You know, so Victorian era Bloodborne was the thing for me. It's like the art design was really cool, the creature design was really cool, the combat was really cool.
Bloodborne was a beautiful, beautiful game.
Yeah, like again, I would immediately pay a full $60 for a PC version that ran at 60 frames per second on Ultra HD. Instantly would. Well, the only caveat would be it would need to be $60 for the complete edition. You know, I wouldn't pay more for the game and then DLC. But yeah, I would immediately pay full price.
And there would go another 500 hours.
Yeah. Honestly, I would play that whole thing on 60 frames per second. So then, once I played Bloodborne, I went back and played Dark Souls 1. And to be fair, again, I just fucking could not get behind it. But I watched a guide. I watched a guide on how to get through each individual area. And then I played it like 6 more times in a row because now I understood how to play it. And it wasn't so much that the game was necessarily too hard. It was that Bloodborne is semi-linear, but it has your options. Dark Souls is insanely open world. Like that was my problem. It's like I don't know where to go. I feel like I'm dramatically underleveled and underpowered for these fights. I don't know what to do. So when I finally watched the guide and I was like, oh, this is the order you do things, I then did them, and then I started doing things out of order and randomly whenever I felt like. It was like so much more fun, dramatically more. And then of course Dark Souls 3, I've played through start to finish several times. No guides, no nothing. Just Dark Souls 3 was amazing. The final DLC came out, it's just awesome. Cliffhangers. Not happy.
But it's the final Souls game. It's over.
It just can't be.
It is.
It can't be.
It is.
Nah.
They wrapped it up by...
Look. Here's...
The Soul of Cinder is gone.
Have you finished Dark Souls 3?
Yes.
And the DLC?
Not the DLC, main quest.
So,
main storyline.
When you
Soul
kill
of
the
Cinder,
Soul of Cinder...
Yeah, that's the last boss that I saw.
If you do the true ending...
Oh, yeah.
You're basically ushering in an Age of
Darkness. Yeah, the dark.
The DLC, the latest one, there's Ashes of Ariandel and then the Ring City. The Ring City DLC is literally about the end of the world. Like, not just the end of the world as an apocalypse, but literally the world is ending. Everything is gone, it's just sand everywhere with remnants of a few buildings. And you find Gale, who has been hunting for the Dark Soul for the silver-haired girl who I don't think has a name, who you find in the Ashes of Ariandel. And when you finally kill him, you get the pigment of the Dark Soul, and you give to the girl for her to paint a new world. There's no way it ends there, because the painted world of Ariamis in the game in Dark Souls 1 was a massive new map, new bosses. I don't remember her name. The chick, the boss of one of the bosses in that game with the scythe, Priscilla. There we go. Priscilla, the crossbreed. There's so much unexplored story and concept behind that. And then you go into Dark Souls 3. Two I never really loved. It's good. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
Like if it
It's
stood alone,
the middle child.
Yeah, if it stood alone, it'd be fucking great. But calling it a Dark Souls game doesn't really do it justice. Or really kind of takes away from the Dark Souls series. But then in Dark Souls 3, you get into the painted world of Ariandel. And you find the girl who's painting a new world. I won't bore everyone with exceedingly amounts of details that I've learned. There is no fucking way that the game just ends with you giving her the Dark Soul pigment to paint this new world. And then that's it. It's like, that's it. There has to be something more. And they've kind of hinted at it. And I think the idea is that Dark Souls it's in the wording. Yeah, it's in the wording. Dark Souls is over.
There will be another Souls game, but it might not be Dark Souls. The Souls game
is not... Yeah, exactly. The Souls game can't be over based on the way...
Especially with how much money they're making off of it. They're not going to end that shit.
It's that combined with the fact that, in my opinion, the story is so deep, so intricate, so complicated, that I can't imagine any single person in that company is just like, yeah, let's just end it here. Let's just be done. It's like there are so many secrets and optional things and side quests and just like almost impossible to accomplish things unless you literally online collaborate and figure out how to accomplish things in the right order.
And one thing I love about that
can't be over.
in the Souls game is, you know, the messages you leave on the ground for people. Like, I don't know how many times like I would see a message on the ground like, you know, danger ahead. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay,
shield out.
Yeah, shield out.
What the fuck's going on?
Like, what the fuck's happening right now?
And then either there's nothing or there's legitimate boss fight or crazy new enemy.
Or like, you know, hidden wall or something, you know, like that, and I'll just start swinging every wall around me. Yep. And then there'll be that one fuck that got me, and I would just like search the whole room and hit everything. And to this day, I'm like, did I hit that part?
Yeah, my favorite is try jumping and then you just die. You're like, God damn it! Because those ones are the best. Because of the Souls community, it's like 700 upvotes, 2 downvotes, and so you just jump. And you're like, God damn it!
And then you have to go and upvote.
And then exactly. And then you upvote. You're like, I have to do this
because I'm not gonna be the only fuck that dies to this. That's exactly what it is.
It's the best thing.
Yeah, the shitty, awesome community of Souls.
That's a good transition. I'm gonna put my own point out. I tend to agree. I think I'm gonna give it a...
Oh, I give it 70 to fail, 30 to succeed.
I'm gonna give it 80, and only because I think between...
To fail or succeed?
To succeed.
Oh, you're on the opposite spectrum.
Or no, I'm sorry. 60 to fail, 40 to succeed.
Okay.
And the reason why is because between Lords of the Fallen and, in my opinion, Neo, I think these developers can get a really good idea of what they're doing. Because you've seen, there's Sultan Sanctuary, which is a amazing 2D version of a Dark Souls inspired game. That was fantastic. Nier Automata, not really Dark Souls necessarily, but there's a lot of concepts about it that I feel like really brought about Dark Souls influences to me.
A big story influence.
As well as the combat. Like, how many times do you fight that fucking chick in the amusement park, right? And then finally be like, oh, this feels so good!
Also, how many times we do the intro of that game?
Oh my god, yes! I mean, the game has its flaws, sure, but I think a lot of it definitely could take, whether or not they actively were influenced by Dark Souls. I could clearly see, like, I like this game for a lot of the same reasons I like Dark Souls. It's great story, it's great combat, great character development, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. With that transition, one of our topics I want to talk about today, which we've been talking about for a while on things that are not necessarily off topic, because we don't have topics necessarily. I read an article about how PUBG, the community, is becoming exceedingly toxic. And I kind of wanted to dig a little deeper because, personally, I really don't think so. And secondly...
Well, no, I can answer the whole question of why the community is toxic right now. People are not understanding and succumbing to the fact that China is number one.
Alright, that's fair. That's fair.
And if you don't understand that, then I don't know what you're doing with your life.
Yeah. So, okay, PUBG, community toxicity between stream sniping, stream honking, and so. So here's, let me lay this out, and then we'll have kind of a conversation about it. Thing one, PUBG's wildly successful. You've got
5 million copies.
You've got 8 million.
Oh, it was 8 million. Yeah, it was most recently
5
8 million.
5 months
and
8 million copies. So there's a couple factors that I figured here. One, 100% unavoidable. You cannot have, I mean, shit, you can't have 1 million players and not have any kind of toxicity, right? You can't even have 1,000 and not have some kind of toxicity.
If I'm playing the game, there will be toxicity.
So, 8 million players, it's unavoidable. And as we know, through any kind of media, toxicity gets the most coverage.
Yes.
Period. So therefore, it gets blown out of proportion. That's my 2 cents. I feel like it's not toxic. Every single time I jump into a squads game with randoms, like everybody's cool, normal. We talk shit to their opponents, right?
Yeah, speaking of which, we jumped into it. Just felt like playing Game of Squads this morning before work. Hopped online, just got into a random game of Squads. Everybody had a mic. Nobody really talked. They're like, "Hey, you seem like you know what you're doing. You make the shots." You know, the calls like, okay. I mean, sure, let's go for it. I was the first one to die. But I died in, like, the top 8 players left. Team ended up winning the game. Like, we won.
Nice,
but
nice.
I was like, nobody on this team talked shit. We didn't really talk at all. They're just like...
I think, on the same note, I want to say, but not necessarily between you and me as a duo, but between our general group, we are very comfortable with each other, and it's not a criticism. But I do feel like we sometimes are not hesitant, but we delay our decision making because everyone's got to throw in their 2 cents. Whereas when you're playing online, if someone says something, you're generally inclined, unless it's like a truly bad decision, you're generally inclined to just like go with it, go with the flow, right? So and then it oftentimes works out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems like less is more when it comes to that kind of communication, which is really beneficial because I feel the same way. It's like, you know, I've got this. Does anybody need it? No.
No.
Great.
Lose it.
Done. You know what I mean? Which we do the same thing. But it's often like, how about we go here? In our group, it's like, well, what about we do one of these other 3 places because there's 3 other players in the game. Maybe we'll have like one person go, yeah, well, that looks good. And sometimes we'll have all 4 go, yeah, that sounds great. But when you go solo, 99% of the time, in my opinion, the first person to suggest, let's do this, the whole rest of the team goes, yeah, let's do it. And sometimes that leads to everybody dying really quickly, right? Other times it leads to winning the game. Whether, now, measurable? No, not really.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's kind of, it's a leadership kind of thing. Those who are willing to kind of like suggest and take control can oftentimes lead to better results because they're willing to, you know, take the step out there.
Yeah.
When, I mean, I called the game the other day. I was playing with randoms. I had a suppressed Car 98. Team was doing really well. Like, let's go to the outskirts of Rozak and move our way into the circle. We got there. One of our dudes got shot out of the car right as we arrived. One of them had already died because he had no mic and couldn't communicate with anybody. But we get down into the water outside of the edge of the city.
Wait, did you res the guy or did he just get killed?
No, he got down and we kept driving because we were trying to figure out what was going on. I got out of the car, looked up onto the balcony. There's a guy, started shooting him. He downed me, downed our teammate, died. We all died. Nobody was pissed. It was just like, that was the decision. You know what I mean? No one was second guessing it. No one was criticizing. It was like, we all agreed this should hopefully be a decent place to go. Just our bad luck that while driving, somebody got sniped out of the car, and then when we tried to get out and get into cover, we just got wasted. Right?
You know, like somebody runs up the stairs behind you and, you know, wastes you and your teammate.
Yeah,
you didn't even know
like
what
you
happened.
Can't move because they're standing in the way, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the game we fucking won.
Yeah.
Or, I say we, like I won, right?
But I was there.
You died literally like half to 1 second before I killed the guy that killed you.
Yeah.
And then we won.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the decision making. It's kind of just how it goes in PUBG. Yeah. But so back on the thing.
The toxicity thing. I agree.
So it's stream sniping. What's your opinion on stream sniping?
Shitty thing to do, but I mean, that's why they have stream delay. Like,
exactly. So good.
And people don't.
That's exactly my thoughts too.
And like that's why like league streamers will like intentionally like have a 5-minute delay. Like even if like you spectate,
or if you're someone like say, even not necessarily 5-minute delay, they'll just like put a cover over the minimap. So it doesn't even matter if you're roaming necessarily. I mean, especially if it's norms or something. Yeah. But they'll do like, you can't see my minimap.
Yeah.
And even then, to be fair, oftentimes like leagues 5v5, a lot of times I see stream sniping come from like, dude, you are hosting or at least in a custom server.
How do you not expect
that is your own
sniped?
fault?
Yeah.
If you're playing on random servers, with random players. You might run into occasional stream snipers who are like, oh shit, I'm in the same game as this person.
Yeah.
Let's fuck them up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that's really exceptional. And then things like, I also like the way Rooster Teeth approaches it, where they laugh, even if it is actual stream sniping. You know, it's generally pretty funny. They always commented about, oh, I shouldn't show this because people might figure out where I am, kind of thing.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, I got a suppressor now, gotta hide.
I wasn't stream sniping, but I was like, yeah, I was watching the stream while playing. But when I was in game, I just turned the stream off because I didn't want to hear what was going on. I just wanted to play. But I get the concept. But again, if you're streaming, it's your fucking responsibility to either, like, to me, I feel like it would be a great idea. I feel like somebody would be, including us, if we did / had the time, I feel like you could get pretty successful by taunting people. It's like, yeah, come fucking stream snipe me. Bring it.
See if you can.
Yeah, see if you can, exactly. I feel like that would bring on a lot of attention. I feel like that could work well. And then, on the next note, stream honking. Which is literally just the dumbest thing I've ever heard
Yes,
of.
but also,
Like,
it
Christ.
can be fucking hilarious. It can.
Like, if you want to stream honk me,
go fuck yourself.
I will hunt you down and try to kill you.
I will
And if
find your
die-
IP. I will find your IP address.
No, I mean, I'll find you in the game.
Oh yeah,
I'll kill you.
that's what I meant.
Yeah, and if I die, first of all,
Okay.
so be it.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't have to listen to your shit anymore.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, so be it. Second of all, if you're stream honking, thanks for giving your position away to me and anyone else in the entire area.
Hope you died next.
Bueno. Like, I don't understand how these things. To be fair, we're not successful streamers.
Yet.
Yeah, but
Caveat.
God, who gives a fuck, right? I can see maybe some people. It's not ranked.
Yeah.
There's a leaderboard, but it's not ranked.
ranked.
And if anything, stream sniping I slightly get. It's like it can be kind of irritating to be like, this person just knew I was here.
And yeah, I couldn't do.
You know what I mean? But then again, if you're trying to stream, a lot of the entertainment comes from the action. So you should be moving. You should be doing things. Any person who plays a shooter knows shoot, move, shoot, move. It throws your opponent off, especially if they're hiding in cover. They don't know where you are. Doing airsoft, video games. I mean, really, those are kind of the only two because we're not actual armed forces. But again, that's still a real life tactic. Shoot and move so that your opponent tries to figure out where you are. You're in a different position.
Real life snipers do not sit in the same spot and take repeated shots. They will take one shot and get the fuck out.
Exactly.
We hang out a lot.
Yeah, we do hang out. So I feel like it's just drama for the sake of drama.
Yeah.
And then stream honking, I feel like, is just bitching for the sake of bitching, which is same thing, really.
But slightly more annoying. So as far as the toxicity in PUBG, it's gonna exist in any massive multiplayer game like that. And as you said, it's gonna get more note because people are gonna get more angry about, you know, something happening or stream sniping or whatever it may be. It's gonna get more notice and more like publicization because it's annoying and people
it's outside the norm.
Exactly.
And that's the priority or the main thing. Because the norm is that most players are normal, fine, general players.
Well, I wouldn't say they're fine. I mean, a lot of them are shit. My team's.
Well, I mean, it's PUBG. I mean, you better hope that a lot of them are shit. And you just get dumpstered on game after game after game. And even then, I mean, sometimes I was telling Devin and Mac when I was playing earlier, it's like, I think PUBG could easily just release right now for $30 and say we're done. I don't think it would then gain in traction, but I think they'd be like, yeah, we made shitloads of money and blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
We're done. But
way more than they expected.
The one thing that I would say more than anything else they need to work on is hit registration. Like, I feel like I'm behind cover and then all of a sudden I just got downed. You know, I was lighting this dude up and then he spun around and killed me. It's like, I can give you maybe some credit, but if I have a level 3 helmet and a level 3 vest and I'm shooting you before you even know where I am, and then you turn on, it's like, how? Exactly. It's
like that example of our 2v2 game.
Yeah, I told literally both of them. I was like, here's where we were, here's what happened, this was bullshit. We both shot at the same fucking dude who did not know where we were, who then spun around and killed us both.
With like 3 bullets.
Yeah. The only thing that you could say, oh, maybe it was because blank, well, the answer was because it was just one window. So long as he was hitting the window, he was hitting one of the two of us.
Both,
but still, That goes inverse too.
Yeah,
we both shot at him
just-
before he even knew where we were.
And that, yeah.
It's like that one was hard for me to stomach. So I feel like again with Rainbow Six Siege that happens a lot too, and they've gotten a lot better, especially with the Project Health thing they've been doing. Hit registration is single-handedly the most important part of any first-person shooter, because if your hits don't register or vice versa, it's not a realistic, fun game to play. So those are my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. I feel like, you know, similarly, I feel like you hit 8 million, it's just gonna be news that no, there's toxicity. It's like, no, most players aren't toxic. You just ran across a few toxic players, and therefore
Now
you
the
call
whole
them all
community is toxic.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So with that, I want to take a short break. It looks like our video's recording at like 36 frames per second as opposed to 60, which should be fine because the audio is normal. Yeah. I'm gonna pause it, reset it, and we'll just jump ahead to the next topic. So I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back from the break. Of course, for you, not a break really, but we're back with some Sun Chips, fresh drinks. And we're gonna talk
Sun Chips. If you do want to sponsor us, Harvest Cheddar is our flavor.
It is our flavor.
I think everybody else's, but at the same time, Harvest Cheddar, Sun Chips sponsor us.
So we're gonna move on to some more serious topics, I guess. You know, transitioning from
no longer gaming and hentai.
Yeah. So the first one, a little more light. I mean, none of them are really like heavy topics at the moment. I have a lot of stuff in here, but the first one, did you hear about the H3H3 thing? So, for the last year and a half, H3H3 has been in a lawsuit against, I think, David Hofstetter is his name, over a fair use copyright claim on one of their videos, where they saw his video and did their traditional reaction video, where they basically made fun of it and blah, blah, blah. It's like that's what H3H3 is, right? And for most of us who recognize that fair use kind of falls under, like, if you're not just simply ripping off their video, excuse me, as long as you're not just simply ripping off their video, it falls under fair use. And H3H3 clearly falls into that. They show the majority of the video interlaced with their own editing, reactions, so on and so forth, to the point where it's not the original content. And that's the important part. Is it transformative? The answer is yes, as far as H3H3 goes. So, for the last year and a half, they've been in this lawsuit with David Hofstetter under 3 different suits. I think one of them was fair use, one of them was, I think, like libel, and one of them was something else that I can't remember. But the bottom line is well, I mean, no, same thing, libel and slander. But there was a third one that I can't remember. I think it was like defamation, which is separate. Whereas like one of them was lies about the person, as in terms of the lawsuit, and the other one was I'm losing business because of it. And I think they were separate. And then fair use was the other one. So they won unequivocally across the board for all 3 that this is fair use, this is legal, you can't do anything about this. So that is a huge deal for YouTube. You know, it sets a precedent for, first of all, reaction videos. And it also makes the distinction between the H3 style of reaction videos and like the Jinx style of reaction videos, where that's not so much of a H3 style reaction as it is like just that person watching the video in its entirety and not even necessarily reacting as
talking over,
just watching it. Most of them just simply watch it. The reaction is like an eyebrow raise or something, or a laugh like that. It's not really a reaction. That is generally mostly just considered like simply ripping off someone else's work for your own. And that was an issue a long time for a while. But there's the distinction between what H3 does and what someone like Jinx does, and a couple others. But Jinx is one that I know most because of someone like iDubbbz TV, who kind of did his content cop on Jinx Reload and his upload and his videos like that. So that was big news. I don't know how that'll affect the gaming side. You know, for the most part, developers don't actually have a problem with it. If you're, you know, they won't copyright claim you for playing PUBG, right? But it is technically possible that they could. Similarly to the way Nintendo.
I was about to say Nintendo.
Similarly to the way Nintendo does. So I don't know how that'll affect.
Nintendo, please. We just want to love your games and have people watch us love your games.
They just want to fuck us.
Nintendo, I want to play Smash Bros. I want to stream Smash Bros.
And they don't want you to. So.
But you know how much I love Smash Bros. Like Falcon is my dude, even though he's like second tier, but he's still my dude.
So that's a big deal. That's kind of really all there was to it. They just simply won. They put out a video on it. If you haven't seen it yet, there's the H3H3 We Won the Lawsuit video, as well as the re-upload of the original video that was DMCA'd about David Hofstadter, and that was also really funny. We'll probably watch that after this because I've only seen parts of it. We haven't actually seen the whole thing.
Also, while Falcon is my dude, I will throw down on some Bowser. Just also context.
So, second thing, which is tied into the third, but I kind of want to do it in an inverse order.
Okay.
Invest in gold.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing. Invest in gold.
Oh, it's been a thing forever.
Well, so exactly. More specifically, I have an app, which you can hopefully see there without. I don't think I'm revealing any real information here, but
is that your phone number? How much?
Yeah, right. So this app called Gold Money is you sign up for it, and you basically buy gold from this company. And then it just sits in your vault. But that gold in the vault, through a debit card, whether it be a legitimate gold debit card or just a debit card in general, you can pay for anything with it. But what it does is it transfers the gold you own to the person you paid. Not necessarily just a gold transfer. It'll pay cash to them.
At the equivalent
so for
of
example,
what that gold to transfer
so
to?
for example, if they don't have a gold money account, the bank will take the gold and then just pay the dollar amount for it.
Sure.
Right? But the idea behind this was simply that, first of all, gold, like you said, has for thousands of years been a standard of currency. But you've never really been able to be like, I want to go buy a coffee, so I'm going to shave off a few flakes of gold, right? But now you can. And that's part of the next topic of the guy I want to talk about here in just a second, where they were talking about how Bitcoin is really unique and interesting, but I tend to believe what we're going to talk about here shortly, that it's not going to succeed. It's going to fail. And part of the reasons why are very commonly seen why hackers love it and so forth, because it's not backed by anything. Period. It's the value of Bitcoin. To be fair, like all money, but Bitcoin specifically, it's based on purely someone's desire to have it. So if no one wants to buy your Bitcoin, it's not worth anything. But gold, to be fair, exactly the same way. If no one wants your gold, it's not worth anything. But for thousands of years, people have always wanted gold. It's always been a standard of currency. So this idea of now, with this modern age of technology, you actually can pay for anything with gold that you own. You can even
actually own the gold. Maybe gold is just an acronym for something in the the code
even,
itself.
Like, you could even, if you have gold in your vault here on this Gold Money app, you can even have it sent to you directly and just have it on hand. The idea is you don't want that. You want the gold there so that you can then use your debit card / credit card to pay for things. But the idea is the gold exists, it is real, and it can be transferred at any point and paid for anything, which is a huge deal. Because gold, the US dollar used to be backed by gold.
No longer is.
No longer is, exactly. So at some point, if the economy changes, if the economy falls, if anything, it's very likely that many people, whether on purpose or on accident or whatever, will transition over to the gold standard. And therefore, your money hasn't changed. You still have exactly the same amount of gold then as you did before the dollar lost value.
My question for this is, does the value for your gold that you purchase, say you buy gold today, say the value of gold skyrockets tomorrow, you buy in quantity, not you buy your gold in, say, like, spend $20 on however much gold that would buy you today.
None, but sure.
You understand the point I'm making. You buy $20 worth of gold today, how quickly does that follow the market value of gold? And does that increase with market value of gold? Because that would be something.
How quickly? I don't know. But the app itself, I mean, I haven't even. I'm interested
only if it follows market value. Because
well, first of all, it does. The only problem I'm having with it is that whenever I try to sign up, it's like invalid email address. I'm like, no, this is I've tried 3 different email addresses. It doesn't work. But you can see here on the bottom. Hopefully, I don't know if it's going to focus there, but you can see on the bottom it shows the current rates of gold in the last 24 hours, in the last year, comparatively to the actual dollar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it does in fact call a market value, and that's kind of the point. Similarly to the way Bitcoin works, sure, at any point gold could lose all of its value, but history shows that it just simply won't.
Yeah, gold value is always increased. Exactly,
thousands of years have shown that gold is a great form of currency. You know what I mean? So I would recommend, sign up for a gold money account. Start using that. You can, you have to do a lot of verification stuff, but once you do it, and once you have your gold, it's just the same as any other bank account. It's not better because it's basically free.
Wait, is this just Venmo Gold Edition?
Kind of.
Like,
I'm sure there's more to it, but yeah, kind of. But the idea is
you're purchasing actual gold and then using that gold
as opposed to having a country currency that fluctuates based on that economy. You know what I mean?
Buy gold that fluctuates.
Your
based
gold
on
is
market
worth
value.
gold, as opposed to your dollar being worth whatever around the world. So, on the sense, I want to bring up the next and probably final topic, because this is kind of the last thing I have, plus most of the information I have here. So, I watched a Joe Rogan Experience podcast the other day. You watched
those?
I know, right?
Weird.
The other day, Peter Schiff. Have you ever heard that name?
Say it again.
Peter Schiff.
No.
He is a investor of like a Wall Street kind of guy. And he really opened my eyes to kind of the way economics work and the way, now whether or not he's all full of shit, which, listening to him, I really don't believe he is. Possible, but I don't. What he said makes sense, similar to the way what Milo says makes sense. You know what I mean?
It's like Alex Jones.
Yeah, like they talk reasonably, their arguments make sense, and the counter arguments just don't. You know what I mean? So Peter Schiff talked about a lot of things. And one of the things was, of course, his gold currency, and he showed Joe Rogan a solid gold debit card that was part of gold money that you can buy. So even, regardless, like, you can still use that debit card for anything, but you could literally melt the debit card down, and it's solid gold for whatever you want, of course. And he talked a lot about economics. And part of it was something that I found really interesting, was about the minimum wage requirements, where basically, in his opinion, in a very sound, well-reasoned argument, that the minimum wage requirements hurt the economy significantly more than they help. And here's why. In layman terms, if you want to hear more, go listen to him, go listen to the Joe Rogan Experience, because, I'm not an economist. I'm just kind of relaying the information the best I understand based on what I've heard. Here's why. You know what's better than, you know what's worse than $7.25 an hour?
$0 an hour?
$0 an hour. So when you try and force people to a minimum wage of $15 an hour,
that's gonna just raise prices and cost of expenses for that business, then forcing all people that consume from that business their prices from that business to raise.
But more explicitly, simply jobs are lost.
Like the minimum wage, one of the greatest things is the McDonald's minimum wage is, alright, raise the minimum wage, fuck it, we'll just have computers do the job.
Exactly, so that's part of the next transition, automated systems. So, in some place like McDonald's, fast food, I would very happily have an automated system. As a consumer,
yes,
sure. But again, when you call most large companies, what do you get? You get an automated voice messaging system. I would much rather have a human who's being paid, just exaggerated example, $1 an hour.
Sure.
Just say exaggerated. But that's better than that person being unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Period. There is zero exchange for that.
Yeah.
$1 an hour is better than unemployed.
Yes.
Period.
Unless you live in America where you just get free money.
That's another point we'll come up to.
Why am I making all these points?
Right? Exactly. Where you just get free money. When you give people an incentive to work, an incentive to get better, an incentive to learn, that is what
drives
leads people
Yeah.
into better positions, better work ethic. And I firmly believe, I understand, I don't want to say cold-heartedly, but economically, like, you just simply should not have a family if you're if you can't afford it, period. I'm sorry. It's not...
But I don't want you to have a family. It's not that you don't deserve a family.
Exactly.
It's just that if you cannot afford to support one financially,
you can't
it's not
support
on the rest of
yourself.
the country and the government to support your family because you cannot do it on your own.
Yeah. If you can't even support yourself, what makes you think that you deserve to be given enough money to support
because then
other
I can get
people?
Food stamps and tax breaks.
I mean,
because
even if you don't
family and
consider,
kids.
even if you don't
That's
consider
why I deserve
food
a fucking
stamps and
family.
such,
Don't tell me I can't.
Even like minimum wage, even if you don't even consider the welfare programs and such, just like minimum wage being raised to $15 an hour, like you just simply
Stupidest thing.
I understand the concept, but the idea is like
It's ruining.
this is bottom tier work. You deserve to be paid bottom tier for it.
Minimum wage jobs are for high school kids and college kids that are trying to make a little extra money on the side.
Yeah.
You should not be a career burger flipper at fucking Dairy Queen.
With a family. Fuck Oliver. Yeah, you should not be a
Cats.
fry. You should not be a fry chef.
Unless you're
Or fry
SpongeBob
cook.
and you know how the fuck you're doing it. Like,
Yeah, you shouldn't be a fry cook and supporting a family of 4 if that's all you plan on doing. You know what I mean? A good example of this, Oregon is one of the few states where you don't have self-serve gas stations, right? Well, oftentimes it used to be that in many of the other states, when you had non-self-serve, the people working there were making very little money. But first of all, they were still making money. Secondly, a lot of the other people there were like experienced mechanics, experienced whatevers.
knowing what they're doing with cars.
Yeah, and then the people working those gas stations would learn from them and learn these
Learn the
valuable
trade.
skills. Yeah, exactly.
And then
Trade school,
further
trade
themselves
skills.
into a career that paid better than the minimum wage job.
Exactly. Yep.
Man,
So
this seems
it's
really
weird
foreign
how
concept.
we're so easily, understanding
Weird.
these concepts. Where you and I have worked. We're young.
I've worked since I've been 16 years old. I've had different jobs, different things.
I've gone from minimum wage up to about, I'm not quite at $20 an hour, but because I'm technically in training and therefore
sure.
contracting. But let's just say rounding, I make $20 an hour on my job.
And I make slightly
But
over
it
30.
takes
And it took me some years, but at the same time, I've worked towards it.
It took years and months of training. It takes a long time to train for these positions. That's why when I was hired for my job, one of the first things I said is, if you take this, you have to be here for at least a year.
Done.
And to be fair, Oregon's a no. I could leave at any point, but it's a job where I know a lot of the people already. My dad works there. We're family friends with a lot of people, so I wouldn't just leave
screw
on
the
them.
company out, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't just screw the company. I get it, but the idea
Morals
is
and
when you
ethics.
have a minimum wage or no minimum wage. The problem I find is similarly to the problem of net neutrality. Now, I don't agree with them the same way. I do think net neutrality needs to stay in place because big businesses will fuck you. But it's a similar concept. Companies won't fuck you on a minimum wage scale. They won't pay you $1 an hour to do the work.
Because nobody's going to take
Unless
that
you
job.
want it. Yeah, exactly. Because no one will take it. If you take it, that's not the company's fault for screwing you. That's your fault for taking it.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility to put yourself in a position where you're worth more.
something.
Yeah, you're worth something.
You
are not inherently worth $15 an hour, $10 an hour, $5 an hour. You have to show it. Even at $1 an hour. And I'm only using $1 an hour as a bare minimum example, right? But at the very least, it trains high school students, college students, mostly high school students, right? Yeah. But it trains them. Show up on time. Put your best foot forward. Customer service experience and so
Clean
forth.
up after yourself.
Yeah, and then it transitions. Here's my job experience, and then maybe you'll make $5 an hour, $10 an hour, $15 an hour, and you grow. Just like every other aspect of life, you grow, and therefore you get more from it. Whether it be from our YouTube channel, which is small but growing. Whether it and again, even if it wasn't YouTube channel necessarily, even if we didn't upload anything and we just edited. We got better.
And then,
period.
5 years from now, if we're actually really good at editing, we get jobs as editors for some.
Yeah, maybe not even way more than we currently make, but it's still something that we
skill
could
that
not
other
have
people
had.
don't know how to do
exactly
as well as we do.
Yep.
And then on that same topic, I bring this up to my parents quite often. Like, I'm still young. I'm 23. I'm like still in this, like, I guess, trying period of trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. And my parents are looking at me like, you're 23.
Yeah.
Why are you stressing about it? And I'm like, because I'm 23. In my eyes, like, I'm so old. I should be so much further ahead. My parents look at me like, you're 23. You're making as much money as you do. You're way further ahead than you should be. You should take a second and relax.
You're easily in the top. Speculation.
Sure.
I want to say you're easily in the top 10% of people our
my age.
Yeah.
I would 100% agree.
Age.
And I'm lucky to be in the position I am.
And maybe that's not entirely true given YouTube and such.
Yeah, sure,
But
sure.
you clearly make way more than. I mean, first of all, me. You make at least like 10,
50%
if not more than I do. No, $10.
Oh, well, I was saying
Flat.
50%.
Yeah, more than I do per hour, which is not a big deal. First of all, that's another factor. It used to be really taboo to talk about your income. Nobody gives a shit anymore. As far as our generation, does not affect me or you or other people I talk to who are. I mean, I remember I was talking to somebody at Bugatti's when I left, and they were like, "And you mind me asking how much you make?" I was like, "No, I don't, because admittedly, I know people there." But I also I worked my fucking ass off to make sure that I deserve the credibility that has been loaned to me. Essentially, like we're putting our neck on the line for you.
Don't
Earn it, and therefore, I'm gonna earn it.
Yeah.
So I don't feel guilty about it. And that was something I struggled with early on. It's like I was trying to earn it, but I was very skeptical about like, oh, everybody's kind of just giving me shit. It's like, no, dude, you've earned it. Yes, people are giving you this position, but you are proving that you are worthy of this position.
Exactly.
You know what I
And
mean?
so, but I guess my topic.
And some people just aren't that lucky.
Yeah.
That's just life. And I hate to say it. It's conservatism at its worst, to be honest. But that is just life. You are dealt the hand, and it's about how you play it. It's not about how the world plays around it.
Yeah.
It's about how you play the hand you're dealt.
Yeah, and back to what I was saying is my parents were always telling me, like, don't stress about it. And now, in retrospect, I'm looking at, like, I've worked my ass off to get from where I was. I started out doing a minimum wage job at the company that I work for. And then I moved, got promoted, and I have some connections in the company, but I would not be where I am now if the owners of the company did not agree with the decision that the people that I know there would, do. Like, the owners of the company saw me, saw my work ethic at the minimum wage job I was doing. It's like, you know what? He does a good job. Let's give him a shot here. Boom, I got that promotion. Started working there. Did a really good job there. I earned that. I felt it was kind of handed to me, but then the more I did it, I knew I did a good job. And then there was another position open in a different department with a better schedule, better hours, same pay, but better schedule, better hours. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for that. And I got that job. And I've been kicking ass at that job. And I've been repeatedly told from my boss, like, you do a good job, like, and I appreciate you for not being one of the idiots that you work with. Like, you do a good job. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly, not constantly, but he reminds me that every now and then. It's like, thank you for doing a good job. And that is
also,
such a motivator.
Yeah, exactly. Inversely, thank you for appreciating me. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
that
It
is
goes
the biggest
backwards,
motivator.
too.
Like, just a thank you, you do a good job, you work hard, is, like, not as good as a paycheck, but the second best fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like,
you do a great job, but we're not paying you for it, so,
yeah, but, it's
like, I don't know if it's worth it.
For an example, we had an account at my work that was from a different company, different state. Their machinery went down. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't produce product for at least 2 months. Their company would have gone under. And so what they did is they legitimately paid us to do their work on our machinery, so we were doing our work on top of their work. So our workload essentially doubled, and they were paying up the ass just to get this. But they were either making a little bit of money or no money at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so they chose to make a little bit of money, which put a shit ton of stress on our company. And in that, I was one of the people that had to deal with a lot of the extra workload. And my pay didn't go up. I obviously got more overtime and plenty of hours to work. But at the end of that, period in which they got their machinery back up in their facility and they started running again, one of the heads of our company came around to each of the employees that had to deal with it and then handed them a bonus check saying, this is not from us. This is not from the company that you work for. This is from the company that, paid us a shit ton of money to run the product. Mm-hmm. This is their thank you to you. And thank you for you putting up with all this extra workload. And that made me motivated so much just to work my ass off. the check wasn't, massive. I mean, it was substantial, but it was nice to have that note and that recognition of, we get it. It was tough, and you did it, and it's so appreciated. And that was the biggest part. Yes, the money was nice, but the recognition of, it was tough. You went through shit.
A lot of overtime, not a lot of free time.
No, I would legitimately get off at work at 3:30 in the morning and have to be back at 11 the next day, and I would get
less than 7 hours.
And that's a 30-minute commute each way.
Yeah,
that's at least an hour commute. 30 minutes home, 30 minutes back. So think 4:30 in the morning to 11. That is 5.5 hours if I fall asleep immediately when I get home.
And then wake up with exactly enough time, not including breakfast, not including...
You think I ate?
Yeah, exactly.
I had time to go to work. And I did that for 3 months straight. And I grinded, but I made a shit ton of money. I worked my ass off. I was recognized for it. And it paid off. Not only, financially, but the recognition I got from the people I work with, like, you did well, thank you. And the other company, it was recognized. And that was just so motivating and made me want to work harder. And as you pointed out, the thank you and the recognition is so big, and when you get that from not only your superiors but your peers, your peer recognition is even more. And then, your boss almost has to say good job, because it's almost kind of accepted that you have to tell your employees good job. But if your peers like, you do a good job, thank you, like, that's not something you have to say. That's something they recognize on their own. And is huge. And
so I want to take that and kind of transition to the same thing. So I've gone down the same topic. Peter Schiff and his economics and such pointed out that a lot of people really like to hate on the 1%ers. And to be fair, there are plenty of them. And I do mean plenty of them who don't do shit and make a shitload of money. But the vast majority of them busted their fucking ass way more than we have. Like, your story is great.
Oh, but that's
I won't say it pales in comparison.
I would.
But there are plenty of people who work 100-hour weeks minimum, if not longer, to get to where they are, making head over ass, handfuls of money, kind of
money
thing,
faster than you can spend it.
Yeah, exactly. Money faster than you can spend it. And sure, economically, there are things you can do, like. Oh, actually, that's kind of a point. That's actually kind of a topic I want to get into at a later time, in this podcast. Essentially, this might be a long podcast, but it's
going to be a long.
Yeah, podcast. I hope you enjoy it, because we enjoy it, and that's kind of the purpose of the podcast. It's talking about shit that I won't say nobody else talks about, but that you really
don't have these conversations with friends.
You just don't have these. It seems to me like a lot of these conversations are only found in podcasts. Have you noticed that at all? And it's not necessarily entirely true. You and I have had plenty of conversations.
But that's what led to this podcast. Like, we talk about really interesting things that have meaning and value, but we don't hear anywhere else.
Yeah. So let's talk about it.
Exactly.
And I won't say we don't hear it anywhere else, but I see what you're coming. I know where you're coming from. It's like, let's do this exact same thing, and then also record it and turn a camera on
and have our exact same discussion.
And it's not necessarily to say it's super easy, which it's not hard necessarily. Not to diminish podcasts in any way necessarily, but it's not as hard as doing a bunch of editing on a video and so forth. But it is about the fact of talking, putting yourself out there, which we've had several conversations about. We've talked about this for months before we did this podcast, and we talked about it on the last podcast too. Is that, like, fuck it, dude, we need to put aside our inhibitions of putting ourselves out there on the internet, despite the fact that our last podcast. So while recording this, I don't know what it's currently sitting at, but the last I checked,
5?
Yeah, it's like 6 views,
cool.
Essentially, right? Which is
got more than 2.
And I would expect that they watched 5 minutes at most. It's an hour and a half long, you know what I mean? But
5
whatever,
minutes?
it doesn't matter. The point is, it's there. And
whether our views come today or 3 years from now,
it's there. Yeah. So, on the same note, don't get job experience, don't have a family, have a minimum wage if you want. So I think the summary for kind of what we were talking about, if you want to make more, if you want to do more, if you want to be more,
earn it.
Increase your productivity. Be worth it. You aren't, and this isn't, I'm all for the idea of everybody being equal. But the bottom line of reality, the real world around you, is that you aren't deserving of anything. Just because you were born into something
doesn't mean you deserve it.
doesn't mean you deserve it. But more importantly, it doesn't change anything. The family you were born into earned it. And if not, at the very least, the people they were born into, or vice versa. Sure. The richer you go, the further back the timeline goes. But someone fucking earned it. Mm-hmm. And at that point, they deserve to be able to give their kids and their grandkids and their great-grandkids millions of dollars in certain situations that they just earned it.
Like the people who own my company, the owner who originally started it was opening bank accounts for children that weren't even born. Mm-hmm. Like, they were like, I think I want to have a kid. Okay, I'm going to open up a bank account for them so they'll always be financially secure. Yep. That is not the kid doing anything to be...
Okay, so, not to cut you off because I think you made a great point. That leads into another great topic. How much do you pay in taxes? Any idea, percentage-wise?
30, 35.
Exactly. So that's pretty standard. Do you claim 0 or 1?
1. I'm my own dependent.
That's fair. I claim 0 just because it generally pays me back more. Yeah.
I actually paid. I had to pay money back on my taxes, which I'd rather do.
To be fair, once I'm no longer a contractor, I'll probably have to claim 1 because I'll end up in the same. But I'll pay 0, make less, and still have to pay more to them, even if it's less than if I claimed 1. So on the note though, here's the thing. 30 to 40%, it's more like 30 to 35, that money goes to the government. And then the government horribly misspends it. Yep. In every situation.
Yep.
If you
Most of it goes to military spending. Everybody knows it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, everybody knows it. And here's a good point that I think Ben Shapiro's made, Peter Schiff has made, Joe Rogan has made, Dave Rubin has made, Philip DeFranco has made, Colin Moriarty. If I'm not taxed, period, and I don't mean to say that the tax rate should be 0, but if I'm not taxed at all, I am significantly, statistically, not necessarily person to person, but statistically, people are significantly more likely to donate to charity, where 99% of the donation goes towards the actual use of that charity, whether it be homeless, orphans, abuse, all sorts of things.
Like if I made that extra 30 to 35% of my income, I would not feel bad about.
Why the fuck in the world would you expect me to donate to charity after I already give 30% of my income to the government? And then 5% of that goes to charity of some kind.
You want me to make almost half of the money? Like, I need to support myself.
So what really sold me on this was Peter Schiff has recently moved to Costa Rica, which is a U.S. territory, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to say Puerto Rico. Thank you, not Costa Rica. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. They don't have a federal income tax. Therefore, everyone in that company makes way more money now that they all live and work out of Puerto Rico. No.
Hold on, tangent. No. After Snozberries takes off, I'm thinking of Puerto Rico being fucking great.
Well, great, but here's the thing. He was adamantly arguing against Puerto Rico becoming a state for the same reason. A large portion of Puerto Rico is unemployed. You have big businessmen like Peter Schiff and several others going down there and creating jobs, creating an economy. If they become a state, not only do they inherit part of a $20 trillion debt, but they also now gain more welfare, literally incentivizing people to work less than they already do, despite the fact that there is a massive unemployment rate in Puerto Rico, which is nuts.
I want to work there.
But that's insane to me. I totally understand the argument he's coming across. It's like, the more government meddles and shit, the less useful that shit becomes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you compare, say, telephones in the old days compared to currently, they're not hugely government regulated. The cost is basically the same. They're still when you account for inflation, the cost of a cell phone then is now the cost of a cell phone now. What's you count for inflation? Like an original, like an old one of the very few first
Like
like
brick phones.
Motorola brick phones, right?
Those are insanely
It's like
expensive.
$13 to $1,500. Well, if you buy a new Motorola Android, it's still $1,100 to $1,200. Account for inflation,
And,
you're looking
new
at
technology.
15. Yeah, you're looking at $1,500 to $1,700. Again, I made the same argument for video games. Video games still cost $60. Sometimes less because the game's not necessarily worth $60. But if you just take the mainline game, $60, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Now, still $60. You know why? Because there's no real regulation over it. It's called demand, or supply demand. It's called a free market. If you're gonna overcharge for your game, I'm not gonna buy it. Period. And you're gonna lose money. You're gonna bring your costs down.
I would also like
if
to
you're
point out,
going to
I miss
pay
the days that video games were $40 when I had a PS2, and then they hiked it up to $60. And I'm still buying games, but
I buy them on sale most of the time. And that's
but,
what's great
But
about
my
the
point
digital.
is, I remember the days where I could get a PS2 game for $40, and I miss it so much.
Well, I mean, because that exact same argument applies to the minimum wage. Again, what's worse than making $15 an hour? Zero. Are you gonna go work for a company that offers you $1 an hour when every single company everywhere is hiring because there's no minimum wage? That means every single company is going to be competing to get that business.
Or that employee.
Well, the employee. But it's still the same thing. As a business owner, it still applies the same thing. I'm going to hire you at $5 an hour. You're going to make me $6 an hour for your workload. Therefore, the net gain is $1 an hour for the company. Worth. Period. End of discussion. But if someone says, "Yeah, here's the position for $1 an hour," you say, "I'll take it." Well, that's on you. That's not on the company. The company did not screw you over. You screwed yourself over. Because if there's no minimum wage, if there's competition among people, then there becomes a competition among the companies. No, I'm not going to work for you for $1 an hour. Are you kidding me? I could walk down the street and be offered $10 an hour.
I could find more money at a park
how about
bench.
How about we offer you $11 an hour, paid vacation, blah, blah, blah. And that's the next step. And that I kind of want to talk about. So the next thing here, Obama was, so Peter Schiff, I'll get to that in a second. So Peter Schiff is predicting a new and significantly worse economic depression due to not fixing the issues that caused the '08 depression. We simply bailed out the banks. We're literally still doing the same thing. The difference is that these big ass fucking banks that caused the problem in the first place have now absorbed several other banks and are even bigger. So when they crash, it's going to be the same fucking problem extrapolated and expanded, multiplied.
Exponential.
Yeah, exponential, thank you. Up like multiple times because now they're that much bigger. You know what I mean? The problem, as many have said, and Peter Schiff says very well, whoever was in charge should not have bailed out the banks. They should have said, and admittedly they can't say because they would never be reelected for saying this. And I both understand and also hate this concept. They would not have been reelected for saying this. Yeah, we're in a huge economic problem here. People are going to lose their jobs. People are going to lose money. And then we're going to recover. But no, they want to get reelected. So the answer is, let's bail out the banks.
To keep their job.
Yeah, to keep
their
their
money.
job. Let's just bail out these banks and basically band-aid this gaping wound in our system. So Peter Schiff is expecting a worse economic depression than the original.
Here's a good analogy.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead. If it's
Good analogy.
Sure.
It's like you're outside the circle in PUBG and you're just healing bandages, but it's the last circle and you can't keep up.
If this ever gets a bunch of views, I'm really gonna be interested to see like which of our audience is gamer oriented, which of them are just not, just totally not oriented.
What is this PUBG reference you're making, sir? And then the few gamers of what's economics?
So here's the thing that I found really interesting.
Sure.
And I personally have not done the research to back up if it's true, but from what I've heard, Peter Schiff cited sources that did do the research to point out that this was true. So he's predicting a new and worse economic depression than '08. All right. Well, Obama, for again all the good or bad he did, the more I think about it, the more I consider all the factors, I just don't really know what happened under the Obama administration. And now I'm for the last 7 months, I've been more or less acutely aware of what's going on in politics between the Trump administration. But basically, Obama has been promoting, we'll get to Trump in a second, the fact that the job market's growing, the market's growing, our GDP's growing. Well, true, kind of, but like all things, you can skew this. So, for example, when you're talking about healthcare or Medicaid or Obamacare specifically, right? Concepts all right, and as Ben Shapiro puts, you can have quality, low cost, and I think accessibility, I think, is the third one. You can have two. You can't have three. Exactly.
I know how this works.
So, the way Obama put it was, our jobs are going up, our market's going up. First of all, Peter Schiff thinks it's a bubble that's going to burst. More importantly, though, here's the thing. As a full-time employee, the company must provide you with Medicare, right? Of some kind, because that's now the law. First of all, it's actually cheaper. Again, no research on my end. From my understanding, and I tend to believe the statements because they back it up with believable information, it's actually cheaper to just simply not have healthcare coverage and just pay the fee for it. The penalty. It's cheaper to pay the penalty than to actually have healthcare. Which
in
is
some situations, for people as young as us, yes.
Yeah.
People our age, yes. If you get older, when you actually have more complicated medical problems and you have prescriptions you need filled regularly.
But he also pointed out here. But again, here's the other thing: car insurance, which is mandatory, so slightly different, just ever so slightly different. So Peter Schiff shifted from car
health insurance is mandatory now.
Now, Peter Schiff shifted from car insurance to fire insurance because of this, because of what Joe Rogan said, what I just said. If that, well, car insurance is mandatory. You have to have it. Sure. But the range of car insurance isn't mandatory. You can have minimum coverage and still be fine to drive, right? Fire insurance, though, is a separate. You cannot. Pre-existing conditions is the thing that Obamacare kind of covered, right? They can't discriminate against pre-existing conditions. Well, if you can't discriminate against pre-existing conditions, that same argument applied to fire insurance, car insurance, life insurance, any insurance, right? Why the fuck would you pay for insurance until you needed it, right?
Yeah.
No, if my house burns down, I'm not going to be paying for fire insurance until my house burns down if the cost is the same before as it is after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My house burns down. I'm going to go buy fire insurance. They're going to rebuild my house for me. That's not how that works. People pay into the insurance
so that when said thing happens, the money
can then pay out. Exactly. Yeah, that's really common, basic economics. And now, while I do agree that our healthcare system is really fucked up, and I personally believe it comes from the fact that we are so adamant on having the best of the best, when mediocre will do for the majority of situations, that's what drives the cost up. And that again applies to the same, government intervention, right? Video games cost the same amount of money. Cell phones cost the same amount of money. Cars tend to cost more or less the same amount of money.
No, I think it's a little bit higher now.
Kind of. When you talk about, there's variation when you talk about inflation and so forth. But the bottom line is, healthcare costs a shitload of money. And, well, there's no real reason. The cost should actually be going down, not up. Yeah. Because it's becoming easier to produce medicine. It's becoming more mass quantities and so forth.
More people are in the medical field every single day.
Exactly. So...
And I'm not trying to say like anything. I haven't needed a doctor in a long time. I get sick. I drink some orange juice and some vitamins a couple of days later.
So why would you pay insurance if you could pay for insurance
as you go?
As you go, exactly, as needed. That defeats the entire purpose of insurance.
Like right now.
So on the same note, here's the problem: full-time employees are required to be provided medical care. Right?
That cuts into the company's profit line.
No. Well, it does. So the answer... I'm sorry. Yes, it does.
So you paid less.
No, not quite.
Really?
The answer... Well, just based on the economics of Peter Schiff and so forth, not so much you pay them less. You don't make them full-time.
Oh, yeah. A lot of part-time employees.
Exactly. So the fact that we have higher employment is simply the fact that, again, I wrote this down. If you have 500 full-time jobs that are paying Medicare, well, just fucking have 1,000 part-time jobs not being paid Medicare. But you can use those numbers and say, oh yeah, the economy's going up, business is going... No, it's not. It's literally the same, if not worse. The difference is that you have forced companies, and this is where the economics come in, right? If I go into an employer and I have skills worth
X amount
paying
of dollars,
for, right? Then the negotiations begin. I'd be willing, like... maybe I'd be willing to accept less money if I get more vacation days. You know, maybe I'd be willing to work. Maybe I'd be willing to accept less money if I only have to work 4 days a week. Maybe I'd be willing to have less money if you do provide full medical coverage and dental and all these benefits, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, then I'm gonna negotiate for better
Pay.
a better income, so that I can then compensate for the fact that I have to pay for my own Medicare, my own car insurance, whatever it is, right? So like my current company at the airport pays for my phone bill, because you like, especially during, like, not for everyone, but specifically like my shifts and a lot of the people in the flight ops department, depending on when you're working, you need to be available at all times. So if you're working a 12-hour night shift and you need to go eat or something, you basically press a button and forwards to your phone. Well, now your phone is now company property, not property, but business. So therefore, the company pays for your phone.
To make sure that it's on.
Exactly. So therefore, you're now responsible, if you leave your desk, that you are still accessible by phone. So that totally makes sense. And as such, you know, you'd be willing to take a small pay cut at, you know, most people pay 40 to 60 individually, say, $40 to $60 a month for their phone bill.
And if the pay cut's $20 a month, you're like, well, that's a net gain of $20 to $40 a month. Like, okay, I can swing that.
Yep, exactly.
And so another thing is like the full, like.
So here's the thing. Just to finish up, the same concept I just told you about is the same with the stock market, which is these are just based on the notes, which I'm kind of a little skewed on. But the bottom line is it's a bubble. It's just the numbers are being misrepresented. They are factually correct, but the way they are being presented is not necessarily representative of the way that the system is actually working. You know,
Understood.
500 jobs compared to 1,000 part-time jobs, right? The stock market bubble compared to the stock market gain compared to the fact that it's in a bubble and therefore will burst. So the point that Peter Schiff makes is that Obama said all of this, and Trump called him out on all the bullshit. Trump now calls out the same shit. Job market's growing. Stock market's growing. Yeah, but nothing's changed. Zero things have changed. You're now just spouting the same information Obama spouted about how everything's getting better, when in reality businesses are just adjusting to compensate, and therefore everything's staying the same. Nothing's actually really changing. So back to your
I have a full-time job because I work a shit ton of hours. And because of that, not because of the laws placed in, but because I work a job and it's union. In my union contract that is negotiated from my union, the company that I work for has to provide me medical coverage. And that's in the contract negotiated.
They'd have to provide you anyways, right?
Yes, but it wasn't. The contract was in place way prior to the law. I'm not saying that the contract supersedes the law, but my company is providing health insurance.
On certain levels, it will because of state.
But my point is, prior to the law being in place that they needed to provide me health coverage, they were, because of a contract and negotiation made from my union, and my union saying, this employee has these skills and has this value. You need to pay them this, to continue to employ, whatever. And I did some little bit of research on how much my company is paying for my medical insurance. Like, literally almost $600 a month. I have great medical insurance. Do I use any of it? No. Would I rather have that money in my pocket every month?
So,
hell yeah.
Did you know me when I had nothing crazy, but like a really dry
thing on your thumb?
Patchy thing on my thumb?
And it didn't go away for years, and you always had to put lotion on it.
Yep. So one of the solutions to that was this tape that I would buy. This roll of fucking tape. And again, my thumb's fine. First of all. It looks totally normal, but at one point it was like dry, and kind of the skin was really thin and would crack. I honestly don't know why, but the doctor was like, "Here's this tape prescription, blah blah blah." I would pay $20 for it. If you just simply outright bought that thing of tape, it was $600, which is not a massive amount of money, like relatively to rent and so on, car payments and so forth, but $600 for what literally came down to tape that I would put over my
medical
thumb.
Tape that
medical tape, whatever, that I would put on my thumb, wrap it in like gauze, and tape it shut, and then sleep with it at night. $600. What the fuck is that? And I would pay like $25 for it.
Oh, it had unicorn juice in it.
Unicorn
I know.
jizz, probably.
No, we can't say that. This is a family program, Jin. We can talk about hentai, but as soon as we get to jizz, it's fucking over.
Like what? That's nuts in my opinion. That's another thing too. So in Medicare or medical coverage, when was the last time you had a medical bill of any kind? First of all, but more importantly, that you actually knew what everything cost. Because my answer is never, ever in my life. Not that I've been to the doctor very often, but whenever you go, it's just like, here's my insurance.
They're paying
here's
for
a
it.
copay that you owe, right? You never really know what exactly you're paying for. I'm sorry, what is being paid for.
I think, actually, like, long time ago when I actually was pretty sick, had a lot of health issues.
I had mono, and that was a big deal, too.
If only I just had mono. I'm not going to get into my health issues. Mono was the least of my concerns, and when I was 15 years old, like, I almost died 3 different times.
Which is funny, because I knew you, I think, when you were
like,
17.
16.
Probably.
I met,
well, I was 14?
No, you're 22.
15.
I'm 23.
It's
I'm
a year and a half or one?
I'm February 94.
Oh, that's fair. So it's like one. It's almost exactly.
One. Yeah, fair. I'm 1 year ahead.
But still, I thought I was older when we met. But that's fair.
No, I was like 15 because I was definitely 15 because it was my freshman year of high school or my sophomore year of high school, one of the two. And you were 1 year younger than me, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I had mono, brain tumors, and Oh, if you didn't know, I had brain tumors.
I don't think I knew that.
I didn't have any surgery. Just was able to be treated with steroids and got rid of it that way. I was on steroids. I got jacked. That's what it was. Not those kind of steroids.
I was a freshman in high school.
Dude, I was putting up 450 on the fucking dude. I was doing it. No, just actual like steroids. But I had mono, H1N1, swine flu. If you don't know, if you haven't heard of it, it was a bitch.
I was like, Nick, that's the name of a fucking video game. I was like, oh wait, that's an actual thing.
No, it's actually fucking swine flu.
Yeah, H1Z1.
No, God damn it, dude. I'm not talking about the zombie flu. I'm talking about the swine flu. I didn't have that one, but I was hospitalized for that. I had brain tumors. I had mono. It was a fucked up year for me. I'm sure my medical bills were fucking crazy. Didn't have to pay for shit. I had medical insurance, but I remember like when I'd go to the doctor all the time and had brain scans and all this shit. Like they'd have printouts of what it would be and like covered by medical insurance. Like occasionally it'd be like a $20 copay, and I'd be like $1,000 for this, $1,000 that, a couple $1,000 for that. I'm like, holy shit!
And that exact cost problem is kind of what spreads into the problems with our Medicare problem in general. So the fact that America basically demands the best, and when I say demands, I don't really mean it. People, I think the majority, this could be speculation, but I think the majority of people don't really care if it's the best. They just want it fixed. Yeah. You know what I mean? But certain advocacy groups, certain government people are like, no, it has to be the best. Therefore, the prices fucking skyrocket. Even now, I don't know enough about him to justify if he's a good or a bad guy. I don't remember his name. You might know. Martin Shkreli, right?
Martin Shkreli, yeah, that guy's a piece of shit.
He's the pharmaceutical guy, right?
He's a piece of shit. That's what he is.
He's the pharmaceutical guy.
Guy that just jacked up the prices of everything overnight because he bought.
Okay. Shit. From my understanding, and again, lack of information. I'm willing to research it.
Sure.
But what I've heard sounds and legitimate, and it's not just words. It's words backed up by here's how I learned this kind of thing, right? He did not jack up prices.
Okay.
He said, these are going to cost more so that we can research a way to make it cheaper. And then the important part is the consumer will not be paying for the extra. It is the supplier or the distributor.
Sure.
So his company to the distributor to the consumer. But everyone freaked the fuck out. And again, I don't know enough about him to say whether he's a good or a bad guy. From my understanding, though, is that he was trying to find a cheaper solution to these things, and the way to do that was to increase the prices so that they'd have more funding to research it. The increase of prices would have come from the distributor, not the consumer. But that was never relayed to most people. Now, whether or not, I could be wrong here, whether or not the price is actually, now it could have been that the distributors then upped the price
because their price got upped.
Then blame Shkreli.
They're just the middleman. Can't blame the middleman.
Well, exactly, right? But that I found that really interesting because I don't give a shit about them one way or another. I don't like pharmaceuticals in the first place.
Big pharma
Not
sucks.
necessarily because I don't think people should have medicine to survive, but I do firmly believe, first of all, there's a huge overpopulation. Second of all, there's a lot of natural cures to a lot of things. Not to say that I'm like a natural medicine kind of guy, but there are a lot of natural.
He's a faith healer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm a total faith healer. I just pray.
It's like, God, my stomach hurts right now. Why did I drink so much last night? I need to feel better.
Yeah. That no, I'm gonna be like Rick, and I get hungover and just pop something into my eye and be like, oh, I'm so much better now.
God, I wish.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much I would drink.
But I found that really fascinating. If that turned out or does turn out, and again, I'll do my own research to be true, it really changes your perspective on the man himself. That maybe he didn't actually up the prices. Maybe he was just blamed. Like recently, Philip DeFranco did his show about a very small YouTuber, much bigger than us, right? Like 1,000 plus at least. But he did a video segment on a guy who's being sued by a diamond company because he discovered that there's no real legitimate way to verify where these diamonds that these people are selling come from, despite the fact that this company is
conflict-free diamonds.
Yeah, conflict-free, guaranteeing Canadian mined conflict-free diamonds. And there's a lot of information that I won't say proves, but shows he's pretty on point with his stuff. But believe it or not, the journalists and the news articles that ran with it said this drug dealing pimp is working, is like questioning the quality or the sourcing of these diamonds essentially. And the Friday show, of course, made a really good point. Somebody commented and said, Billy D, thank you for bringing the story up, because if I had heard about this in the news, I would have probably just gone along with the mainline story of this dude is a bad person doing whatever, right? But in the reality is he's being sued by these massive, incredibly profitable companies for being like, you are full of shit. You know what I mean? And Philly D covered it, and the guy's had I would hope massive support from it because of that, and that's a big deal. And you could argue on a big level the same could be argued for Martin Shkreli. Whether or not it's true is a completely separate issue.
Sure. I understand.
But you can still argue the same thing.
I understand
that
what you're saying.
Maybe he's not actually a bad guy. Maybe he legitimately was trying to find a cheaper solution
in the long
by
term,
jacking up the prices through the distributor, and then the distributors jacked up the prices to the consumer. And then the consumers, because of the distributors, blame Shkreli. You know what I mean?
So I'm definitely in the category.
Fully plausible.
I'm definitely in the category of people who did not understand that the way that Martin Shkreli actually jacked the prices, or whatever it was done, that pricing. I was in the category of he jacked the prices of medical, prescriptions, pharmaceuticals. And as you obviously saw, I was passionate about that guy's a piece of shit because I had that lack of information. Whether or not it's true or not is a different thing. If it is true, then that completely changes my perspective. If it's not, he's still a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I only knew about him because of his Wu-Tang Clan album or whatever.
Because he bought the one album and he's never going to share it.
Who cares? I was like, whatever, dude.
I'll never hear that album unless that asshole releases it.
I mean, whatever. But again,
it's Wu-Tang.
Yeah, but it's superficial. It's not relevant. It doesn't affect
I'm
you.
I'm not gonna throw up the sign. Not gonna throw it up.
I mean, it's totally fair. But the bottom line is, it's totally not relevant. And that same concept leads me to the final point that I kind of want to more or less wrap this up with. We're coming on 1 hour, so I think we're almost at 2 hours total, if not
plus
longer. That Peter Schiff's entire point that I firmly agree with because of just in general between Phil DeFranco, Joe Rogan, Colin Moriarty, Milo Yiannopoulos, Peter Schiff, Ben Shapiro. The free market will fucking fix itself, And the best comparison to this is, it's got to be you gotta hire racially diverse people. You gotta hire women and minorities and so forth. And first of all, discrimination, especially now, first of all, is more rampant than it ever was. And his argument was, I'm not going to hire it's not necessarily I won't hire. It's that I'm less likely to hire a minority versus a white male who are equally skilled, because if that person doesn't work out and I have to fire them, I'm probably going to be sued.
Yeah.
Because they're a minority.
Mm-hmm. That happened at my company.
Yeah, which is significantly worse discrimination.
I have a story about this that will piss people off, but is 100% true. I was there.
But so that kind of discrimination is significantly worse than whatever discrimination, I don't want to say that ever happened, but recently happened. People used to hire based on merit. Yeah. Not on whatever. So now it's almost inverse. People don't want to hire minorities because if they fucking have to fire them, they're going to be sued. So the free market will fix itself. Mm-hmm. Show me a goddamn restaurant or any company specifically. I'm sorry, any company really, but specifically like a restaurant or something that's like, we don't want to serve blacks. We don't want to serve Jews or something. It's like, that restaurant will go out of business so fast. Not only because they won't serve Jews or blacks, but because you and me, out of fucking principle, will not go there. Up. Exactly. Yeah, we won't go there.
I don't care if you have the best food in the world. If you're discriminatory against anybody, really,
it's like why the fuck would we go do that? Fuck yourself. Exactly. So that's kind of the argument, and I'm sure there are counter arguments to it. But as Milo Yiannopoulos puts it, that's on them. Yeah. Period. As the bakery puts.
Yeah, I was about to bring this up.
It's not about we're anti-gay. It's like, do you want to bake a cake for a gay wedding? Not necessarily. We're kind of opposed to it. But that's their choice
to make it. Whether or not I agree with that choice is my opinion. Mm-hmm. Their opinion to disagree with their lifestyle, not choose to do work for them, is their fucking choice.
And their business.
Exactly. If they're turning down their business, then
that's on the company saying, we don't want your business. Exactly. I mean, dude, can you imagine if there was a lawsuit based on the fact of they wouldn't serve me because I didn't have a shirt or shoes, even though a bajillion companies say no shirt, no shoes, no service. It's like, it's the exact same argument. There is no way. I personally feel like there is zero difference between those two arguments. Yeah. No shirt, no shoes, no service is the exact same as saying no blacks, no service. Yeah. While some of it's more acceptable, like, sure, I will wear a shirt and shoes into your building. Yes. If I were to sue a company based on the fact that they wouldn't serve me because I walked in shirtless,
they would just throw it out because, like,
they'd throw it out. Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's dumb. It's exceedingly dumb in my opinion, and so the free market will fix itself because people in general will fix themselves. Mm-hmm. You always have, and the news will always show random fucking people, just the worst stories. I mean, I've said this before. You know, crime shows on television are, in my opinion, largely responsible for a huge amount of mistrust in the United States. Because there's a huge comparison between Europe and America, if you didn't know this on television. Europe, a lot of their maturity rating is based on violence and less on sexuality, and whereas America is based much more on sexuality and less on violence. So because of that, you see a lot more violent shows being run on network television, a lot less sexual shows being run on network television, and vice versa in Europe. And what that leads to is a common mistrust of people. It's like 1%, if not less, and I would argue it's probably less of people. I mean, the same argument applies to Black Lives Matter. You know, social justice warriors. If you're listening to Milo Yiannopoulos, that all you ever hear about through the news, through television, through whatever is about how violent. And not only is that all you hear about it, it's daily for literally, you could watch 24 hours a day, every single fucking day, violent crime TV shows for the rest of your life, period. And I don't want to say that's 100% true, but I'm pretty certain that's true. There are enough TV shows out there that you could watch 24 hours a day, violent TV, and never, ever run out. So long as the shows were continually produced, right? Sure. What that leads to is a common mistrust in people. You know, you see people not willing to let their kids outside to play without being supervised. You see people, a commmen mistrust in your everyday bystanders, despite the fact that your average human is a very welcoming, nice, friendly human person.
I brought this up in our last podcast last week. It was that in Japan, that kids travel on subways and buses on their own miles to school, and it's accepted there and considered normal
because the culture.
Because if you see a kid getting kidnapped in public and the kid's saying no, it's not expected. It should happen that people intervene, like, and that's also
it's human decency.
It's human decency, which
but all you ever hear about in the news is
indecency.
Exactly, and I think that's what drives
awful.
mistrust in people. And I saw people on Facebook that I won't say I dated them at any point.
People you used to be close to.
Yeah, people that if they weren't the way they... I don't want to distinguish any particular group with this. People that weren't the way they were necessarily, I would have been like, you would have been an interesting person to go out with and hang out with and so on and so forth. But they were like, oh, this is disgusting. It was like, well, comparatively to Europe... I would much rather have a lot more sexuality in a TV show. Not because I mean, first of all, I am, but it's not because I'm a, sexually active 20-year-old, but because of what it counters. I would much rather have a natural, oh, the music's not going. That's awkward. It hasn't been going for a while, but whatever. I would much rather be watching something like Game of Thrones is a very good comparison, where you have a lot of violence, but it's also got a lot of sexuality in it, where... I know, right? But it balances out. Where, first of all, sexuality...
You get enough heads chopped off and tits on screen, you got a great show.
Yeah, right? But sexuality is simply human nature. Now, to be fair, violence is also human nature. But when one of them is showcased significantly more than the other, and the other one is also not actually all that taboo around the rest of the world, it's only in the Western society... Which, to be fair, Western society is the best. It has clearly advanced civilization far beyond anything else. That doesn't change the fact that some of it's flawed. Sexuality it just simply can't be a bad thing because it's fucking being human.
That's why I'm here.
Violence is also...
Somebody has to do it.
Violence is also human, but it's basically the positive side of humanity versus the negative side of humanity. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of a given.
No,
they both exist in reality. One of them's a positive, one of them's a negative. Yeah. It's so straightforward to me.
And, so back to the topic of discrimination in the workplace. There was a guy who used to work at my company. And he was caught on several different occasions of leaving the premises during his several-hour shift. He would drive his car to work, clock in, work for an hour, have somebody pick him up in a different car, leave and come back. And you'd be like, oh, I've been here the whole time. See, my car's been right there. You can check the cameras. Like, the guy would just leave. And he was caught doing it several times. And finally, management came in one of the nights when somebody called, like, hey, the guy just left. Management came in, looking for the guy, couldn't find him, sat by his car, and saw the guy get literally dropped off. And he denied it. Company ended up firing him. He sued and said, oh, it's because I'm not going to bring up his race because it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. But they fired me because I'm this ethnicity, and it's discrimination. He got a couple $100,000.
He won?
Yes.
Oh, God. That really
the most fucking frustrating thing of, you got fired, rightfully so, but you sued because of racial.
Yep.
That's fucked.
Which again, which does nothing but hurt the argument of diversity and racial anything. Because, I kind of want to wrap this up pretty quick.
I'm 100% down for that.
But it's similarly like Muslim culture. The majority of mainstream Muslims do not accept and they firmly denounce violent extremists.
Yep.
But they don't really do anything about it. To a degree.
I don't know. Not very...
Yeah, to a degree. I don't want to blanket statement all of them.
Sure.
But to a degree, mainstream culture does not stick up. Like, in the U.S., in Western culture, part of it's because of the individuality of people. You see so many people sticking up for what's right, as well as a lot of people sticking up for what's not right. And what is right is subjective, especially if you're a Rick and Morty fan. Right and wrong is very subjective, but it just simply makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, kind of to wrap this podcast in the final thoughts. First of all, video games best form of entertainment. Indistinguishable. If everybody played video games...
Video games might be the second best form of entertainment. First being hentai.
And then, I think the second thing is we're just saying that I don't think anything in human nature has changed historically. I think...
It's all evolved, but stayed relatively the same.
I agree.
Taking different forms.
It's a larger scale, and because it's a larger scale, it is much more difficult for people to notice when they are doing things that are exactly the same as the things that they are fighting against.
Cars are not a new concept. People rode horses. They invented bicycles. They invented carriages. Transportation. That is not a new concept for people. Cars might be, but the basic need for transportation is not.
Yeah.
The aqueducts, in the ancient aqueducts, like that is not a new concept. Like we have plumbing. That's not new. Like people have been trying to get water to places for thousands of years. It's just now we have, people played games, people told stories, people wrote books, people made, sports. Information. And it's all based on the very few basic needs of people. It's just now to a new degree of, there are some ancient sports like, I don't want to name any.
I can't resist. Here's what I want to finish on.
Yes, go.
Elon Musk has talked about maybe not recently, but there's a new Neuralink. We're basically integrated, whether it be a peripheral or an integrated thing in humans, the ability to basically be walking, talking Wikipedia. Anything on the internet you have instant access to through your brain function. Do you think, I don't want to dive into this in terms of a long topic.
That's another podcast, but my only question is, that's like hentai on the go?
God damn it. Okay, so do you think this would be a net positive or net negative? Because in my opinion, you're looking at a net positive.
That's another podcast. That's like an entire podcast.
Yeah, and I think we can start that off as our next one. I'll do some research and we can maybe lead that off.
We will do a lot of research because I want to dive into that.
My opinion on the basis level is that it's a net positive because
accessibility.
Because of that exact reason. It is way too hard. Like, for example, I only recently started my full-time job, right? Yeah. I've been working very part-time, barely covering the bills, intentionally so, which I feel like is a defense for myself, but it doesn't change the fact that I did it on purpose, right? But it's because of the free time that I had that I was able to discover all this new shit that really changed my ideology, my politics, and my opinions on things. That to really come to terms with the way that reality works.
Sure.
Because of that, part of it's optimistic. I'm willing to say that it's the lack of, despite how readily available information is to everybody, it's still the lack of information that causes people to think the way they do in certain situations. And again, I think you'd agree with me on this. That also applies to us. Despite what we're saying.
I thought you were going to say China #1. I thought we had this.
Despite what we're saying at this point, like Ben Shapiro says, a good argument will change my mind.
Yeah.
At any time.
Yeah.
But I firmly think that if we had access, and Wikipedia is a weird example because Wikipedia can be changed.
Yeah.
I think if we were able to instantly and at any point get any information we wanted through our brain's connection to the internet, I truly think it would be a net, not necessarily 100% positive, but I think it would be a net positive. Because I think you'd get a lot of people. You'd have tons of people who would get this new information.
In discussions
and firmly, fervently, religiously stick with their beliefs despite evidence to the contrary. But I do think you'd also have a shitload of people who would convert and be like us. Because we're walking, talking examples of it. Whereas it's not so much that everything we know is wrong as everything we know needs to be questioned, and then once it's questioned, then you can draw your own conclusions as opposed to just being told this is how things are and then just going with it.
Being spoon-fed the answer, I'd rather do a little bit of research, find my own truth, make my own decision, be my own person, have my own fucking brain.
And that's a good place to end it. Thank you guys for watching.
We'll do this again.
Number 2. What is this, like 2 hours and 15 minutes with basically no breaks?
I mean, we took a break to get more drinks and
but the
chips.
video's just put together.
Yeah, more or less. We can cut out all the hentai shit. We don't really need to tell people.
That's what you said the first time when we actually literally talked about hentai. In this situation, you literally just brought it up like 4 times, 5 times, and then we moved on.
It was comedic effect. I don't actually watch hentai. I really
Of course hentai. It was comedic effect. That's the point. There's nothing to cut out. It's just going to be like conversation, jump cut. People are like, wait, what did I just miss?
It's like, why did hen what?
All right, well, thanks guys for watching. I know I already said that, but
Yeah.
hopefully we're trying. You know, like tomorrow and Sunday we don't. To be fair, we could record this at any given time on the weekends, but we generally try to record it evenings when we don't have anything else going on. We've got some drinks and so forth.
It's a lot cooler, so we're not burning up in
oh
this
my god,
sauna
I know,
of
this
an office.
sauna of an office. It's a nice office, but it is a sauna for the next at least. I mean,
month.
Technically
give
it's
it a month.
over, but it's at least still hot for the
Yeah.
next month, if not longer. So
For us that live in the Pacific Northwest and can't deal with heat for shit.
yeah. All right, we'll see you guys. Snozcast 3, hopefully next week.
3.0, yeah.
So we recorded this. I don't know if it matters much, right?
Yeah.
But we recorded this the night that Snozcast 1 went up. I don't necessarily know how the schedule's going to go because it depends on our work schedules, our ability to export, and so on and so forth. So, again, thank you. We appreciate watching. Anybody that stuck with us through the end, props to you guys. I really hope you enjoyed what we had. And
if you stick
leave
to
a
the end of the
comment.
next one, I'll give you a list of my favorite hentai.
And more importantly, man, I mean, leave a comment, give us your opinions.
Feedback.
This is really, it's feedback, but it's also conversation. We want to know your thoughts, your opinions on the topics we talked
And
about.
if we mention some facts that are wrong, link it to us because
Please,
we'd love to know.
Please tell us if we were wrong. Good lord.
Because I'd
There
love
were
to
a
learn
lot
from
of
my
things where
mistakes.
I'm like, here's what I know.
I don't know
Might
it's
be
true,
wrong.
but okay. Anyway,
All right,
thank you
peace
guys.
out.